Ok, bonjour. Alors, hop, on va faire la quête principale à Semeru. Bon, qu'est-ce qui t'arrive toi? C'est la lumière. Wesh. Wesh. Ah, j'ai un mouchoir là. Je vais essayer de nettoyer un peu la cam. Elle a besoin d'attention. Qu'est-ce que ça donne? Bon ouais ça va, c'est juste la lumière est vachement flashy. Bon ça va s'estomper avec la journée. Alors, je voulais commencer par parler de où s'en est arrêté sur la quête principale. Parce que ça fait un petit moment, peut-être qu'on a... certaines personnes ont oublié. On a été bloqué dans le temps et l'espace. On revivait tous les jours le même festival. On avait rencontré une fille qui avait participé financièrement aux préparatifs de ce festival, qui était atteint de l'éléazar, une maladie qui touchait également Collet. On a ensuite eu une aide extérieure, une petite fille qui s'appelle Nahida, qui nous a révélé être l'Archon Dendro, mais qu'elle a encore beaucoup à apprendre. Elle nous avait dit, avant de nous laisser trouver comment résoudre cette affaire, que si elle avait été un vrai archon, elle aurait pu sauver cette dame qui, à force de revivre la même journée, a fini par disparaître. Et au final, à la fin, on retourne la voir et cette personne est là, bien vivante. Du coup, elle a su la sauver. Et du coup, on devait aller lui parler. Elle avait pris la forme de Catherine avant qu'on lui parle. Et voilà. Elle est toujours sur la forme de Catherine. Ah, c'est 4 histoires. Je baisse un peu son de musique. Danyuzard, voilà c'était ça son prénom.
After we parted on the last day of the Subzerus festival, I left the city. Among the countless dreams, I found one that was growing fainter and fainter. This proved my suspicion. Once Dunyarzad could no longer bear the Akasha harvesting her dreams, her consciousness began to dissipate. But this also meant it escaped the Akasha's control. Such a small fragment of consciousness can't last for very long, though. It will return to its original dream. Where both will gradually fade until they completely disappear. I used all the power I had to keep my dream for my life as long as possible. But it still wouldn't have lasted for much longer if it hadn't been for you two breaking the samsara. So it looks like we did manage to save Dunyarzad in the end. Not a moment too soon. Huh? Why are you two smiling so happily? I thought you'd be so moved that you'd start crying. Both are fine. Everyone reacts differently. Alright. You two must have a lot of other questions for me, right? After all, you saved my faithful believer. As your reward, I will answer any and all questions. At the Avidia forest, there was this incense that made the traveler fall unconscious. You also heard someone's voice, right? It said world and forget me. Yeah, so you do know! We've been wanting to ask you what that was about. It seems like the traveler established a connection to Irminsul. That was a message left by Greater Lord Rukkhadevata's residual As you two probably know, Greater Lord Rukkhadevata disappeared after the disaster in Conria. The timings of these events do line up, so you're just... A message from Greater Lord Rukkhadevata? We thought it was from King Deshret? That god who died even longer ago? Some present-day desert dwellers still worship him. Okay, so what? I still haven't managed to decipher it. Greater Lord Rukkhadevata's residual consciousness in Irminsul seems to be contaminated with something that has a very dangerous aura to it. Many devoted scholars go mad as soon as they connect their consciousness. I've warned the academia about this many times, but people still keep falling victim to it. But I believe this is the key to saving Irminsul. That's why I've kept trying to... So the tree in the vision was Irminsul? Oh, Tighnari also said that Irminsul is sick! Is it because of the contaminant? But even if you can't figure out what that vision was all about... The traveler wasn't affected after coming in contact with that consciousness. I've never seen anyone like that. With you here, we may have a chance... No, we must decipher its secrets. I've already eliminated all other factors that might affect her. This puzzle has life and death at stake. It could determine Irminsul's fate, as well as Tevat's. To be accurate, I'm using the Akasha as a medium to occupy Catherine's consciousness. How did you do that? Poor Catherine. Theoretically, I can enter anyone's mind as long as they're wearing their Akasha. The Akasha is the legacy of Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. As Lesser Lord Kusanali and the first Akasha Terminal, I've always respected my people's free will, so I've never actually occupied their consciousness. When necessary, I just hold on. Did we just learn some deep, dark secret? What about your own body? Why do you need to borrow other people's? Don't you live in the sanctuary of Surasthana? That story begins a long time ago. After Greater Lord Rukkhadevata disappeared, the sages found at that time I was young and weak. The sages kept me in the sanctuary of Surasthana, ostensibly for the sake of protecting me. However, I do understand that they had hoped to find Greater Lord Rukkhadevata instead of me. So, the sages basically put their new Archon under house arrest? How dare they! In some ways, they aren't wrong. Greater Lord Rukkhadevata was omniscient and omnipotent, and I'm still really far away from being able to call... Yeah, you got a lot of believers. Just look at the Sub-Zeros. Thank you for the kind words. But I honestly don't need physical freedom as long as I can connect my consciousness to the Akasha. Trying to find a way to save Irminsul is my life's mission and top priority. I will work on that, and try to live up to being a deity in the meantime. Every once in a while, I will also take up the duties of the God of Wisdom and enlighten a lost soul here and there. Doing all that should be enough. There's never been any big problems with the Academia's governance of Sumeru. This is the first time I've seen them. I wonder what caused them to go down this path, and what they hope to achieve. Even though the city's residents haven't noticed anything strange, if the traveler hadn't broken the Sub-Zero's samsara, the situation I tried to do some investigating in the Akasha, but I couldn't find anything suspicious. And all the people of interest seem to... I think they're deliberately trying to hide something. Oh, that reminds Paimon. In Gandharvaville, there was a sage who had invited Tighnari to join some kind of project. Regardless, I need to first investigate the sage's motives, make things right, and punish them if needed. But I'll have to be discreet, or they'll see me coming. You mean how the Akasha stops you from having Yeah, it's been such a long time! It's not that no one noticed. It's more like no one cared. Ultimately, it's all rooted in the sage's misdirection. The sages convinced everyone to believe that being unable to dream is a sign of rationality and wisdom. Not dreaming is a badge of honor in Sumeru, even if the truth is that their dreams are being reaped by the Akasha. With their propaganda in place, the sages can maximize their use of the Akasha. Besides, Greater Lord Rukkhadevata must have created the Akasha in the hopes that it could be used to its full potential. Anyway, the perspective advocated by now, even those who never use Akasha terminals find it too shameful and got it. I hope my answers were satisfactory. See, to be honest, maintaining Dunyarzad's fading dream took a lot of mental energy. Oh, and you don't need to worry too much about the sage's activities for now. The Akasha won't be able to conduct another project on the scale. Go and get some sleep. What a relief.
Traveler? Paimon? Why am I here? Do either of you know?
Maybe you were sleepwalking. You know you can't wake up a sleepwalker. We happened to walk by.
I see. Huh. I should visit my maintenance personnel sometime. Oh,
Elle passe à la maintenance, c'est-à-dire.
Some time in Sumeru City, but ever since we last said goodbye to Lesser Lord Kusanali, we haven't heard anything
Oh.
from her.
Catherine. Ouais, non, c'est la quête principale.
Oh, we can't just keep waiting.
Ad Astra Avisask. We meet a
Hi, Catherine. Do you have any
commissions, huh? Oh, how about this? Please attend the Academia's Academic Symposium this afternoon and recite a love poem on stage.
Wait.
And if possible, please also use your camera to capture the reaction of...
Huh? What kind of commission is that?
I see. It appears... In that case, please go to Port Ormos and convince the Eremites there to spend some time...
Hey, that's not any better.
I'm sure the mercenaries will have some interesting...
Paimon's gotta ask. Just who exactly?
Oh, the commissioner? Well, actually, I just wanted to...
Was it so obvious? I was hoping you would actually take one of those commissions. That kind of chance to observe humans doesn't come by often. Ah, so it's Nahida. Paimon just knew Catherine wouldn't crack those kinds. From when she said, Ad Astra Abisask? So it's been you this whole... Are you done resting up, Nahida? Yes. I've been sleeping ever since we parted ways, and I even had a really long dream. It was another dream about the Sub-Zerus festival, except in my dream, I was sitting in the middle of a flower terrace, and everyone in Sumeru City was holding hands as they danced in circles around me. I also got to sit on a gigantic flower carriage. Ferris, the Knight of Flowers, raised me really high above the... You know, Nahida, maybe your dream is how the Sub-Zerus festival really should be. It's meant to be a joyous time where everyone gets together to... Huh? Wasn't I describing a really happy dream? No! We aren't pitying you. That would only make everything worse. We just don't want you to feel... By the way, have you had a chance to visit Dunyarzad? How's she doing? The Homianis haven't allowed any visitors after... Yes, I paid her a visit right after I woke up. She was resting at the time. Her condition is stabilized. However, since Elazar is a manifestation of the withering on the human body, we can only... But for the moment, our top focus should still be figuring out... Right. Who knows what'll happen if they manage to pull off another scheme like the Samsara... So our first priority should be investigating and putting a stop to the sage's activity. Oh, good point. Sorry, adventurers. We're gonna be borrowing Catherine for a little while.
Et du coup, j'ai une question. Ouais, je peux faire Tignari et Nilou. Moi, je finirai d'abord les quêtes à Libu, tout ça.
Let's continue our chat here. Okay, so do you have any ideas on how we can investigate this? Actually, I've already done a little bit of work on that. But for now... I've already tried that. But all the key members of the Academia, even the core 30 guards, intentionally avoid wearing their... It seems that from the very beginning, they've been guarding against info leaks from the Akasha. Of course, it could also be because they're wary of me.
Have you already caught the sage's attention?
I'm guessing not yet. But distrusting me would make perfect sense if they've ever paid attention to... In any case, I probably can't... No way, that's too risky.
You mean it'd be too easy to get caught?
No, it's not that. We shouldn't involve in doing that would be ignoring the safety of my people for my own selfish goals. How is that any different from...
That's a good point. Spoken like the god of Samir.
We're in the dark as of now, since we still don't know anything about their goals. And after all, every person in Sumeru City is one of...
Are we really out of... Nahida, you're super smart, so you already have something in mind.
According to a popular theory from the Bahumana Darshan of the Academia, rejecting impractical motions at the beginning of a planning session...
Okay, but aren't you the god of wisdom? You don't have to use that kind of gimmick.
Well, I've been thinking that if I can't directly possess the leaders, and then I should find someone who's already involved, but hasn't decided to side with the sages.
You're saying we should recruit a spy? Oh, before coming back, we met someone named Alhaitham. He seems like he acts alone, and he likes doing stuff behind the Academia's back.
Actually, I already have someone in mind. Do you still remember that...
Setaria. Paimon remembers now. Isn't she the one who we ran into her basically every time the Sub-Zero's festival? Paimon still remembers the smug and mean way she...
I've always liked observing... She was born in the desert and was hailed as their greatest genius. Her academic gifts allowed her special admission into the Academia. And also...
Oh, Paimon didn't know she was from the desert. She must be pretty special then. Paimon feels like most of the desert dwellers...
The name Setaria means star. When she lived in the desert later on, she was chosen by the sun. The star was given a place in the daytime sky to come soon after. The star witnessed the sun. The star began to waver. Instead of staying beside such a sun, wouldn't it be better to return and light up part of the night sky? But in the end, she couldn't give up the radiance of daytime. To cope with her shame, the star buried her guilt and closed her eyes.
From the sound of it, Setaria's just hung up on the reason, but she doesn't really support the Academia. She still feels guilty about...
Indeed. When they are presented with complex moral issues, many people will simply plug their ears and go with the flow until the problem can't be fixed anymore. She's suppressing a lot of guilt. But before she realized it, she had already become right. We must somehow make her face her problems again. That way, not only can we get useful intel from her, but she can... From my past observations, Setaria will take a day off from the Academia every 10 days. Tomorrow afternoon just happens to be a shopping day for her. To prepare, let's go check out some of her favorite spots, and have a quick chat.
Et c'est une quête secondaire apparemment. Je me disais que c'était pas normal que le tableau brille comme ça. Ça devient une quête? Ouais.
Too slow.
This should be Sataria's favorite fortune-telling spot.
So should we...
No, I already have enough information on Sataria. The most important thing now is for you to pay attention to the vendor's talking style.
Talking style?
My poor lost lambs. Have you become troubled over your fates? The divine voice of wisdom often echoes between mine ears. If thou be blessed today by the gods, I may be able to show you.
Huh? Really? Nahida, you think...
Shh! My friend here has some doubts regarding his future. Can we...
It would seem that Harut and Marut are quite wary of you. Perhaps, at some time in the past, you have somehow...
Only mocking the god of Animo, questioning the lord of Geo's financial savviness, and brawling with the god of Electro.
Oh, nothing. Go on, pick an aspect for her to divine.
Love prospects? The god one who is fated to cross your path will appear on... Huh? So many people. Marut, did you two spoil my divination? I've never read a fortune...
Actually, Paimon thinks this is probably...
I admit that the orientation of today's celestial matrix is...
Is that so? Well,
If you were to bring some food offerings for Harut and Marut on your next visit, perhaps they...
Is this another one of Sataria's favorite stalls?
Yep, it belongs to a king. His father helped Sataria a lot when she first moved to Samari City, so she still comes by whenever she has time. When I start talking with him, listen carefully to the details of our conversation.
Ah, dear customers! Would you like to look at some pottery?
we caught wind of your great craftsmanship, so we specifically came to take a look.
Oh, I recognize you. Aren't you Miss Catherine from the Adventurers Guild? Sounds like I'm in for some big business.
Speaking of, where did you learn this trade?
I suppose you could say it all started with my dad. He's a mason by trade, but I picked up an interest in clay while apprenticing for him. After that, I began making pottery by myself in secret, and I simply changed trades when my works turned out well. Although it's a pity that I'm no longer making much use of the knowledge provided to me by the Akasha.
That's nice. You're making a living doing something you love.
So is your father still working as a mason?
Oh no, not anymore. A few years back, he fell from a roof and broke his leg. Since he had already saved enough mora over all these years, he's just enjoying the retired life in Port Ormos nowadays.
I see. We wish him peace and happiness in his retirement. I'll have someone in charge of logistics at the guild come by another day for some goods. We'll leave you to it. Take care now.
No problem. Rest easy, all our goods are sure to meet your every need.
Okay.
This should be our final stop. Sataria's always thinking of this restaurant when she's working at the academia, so she always comes by whenever she's out in the city.
Nahida, you've really thought of everything.
It's my duty to protect Samari's citizens, after all.
Hi there. I feel like I've seen you down by the docks before.
Huh? Sorry, I don't quite remember.
If I recall, you were having a discussion with someone about shipbuilding at the time.
Ah, that's right! I've always been really interested in feats of marine engineering. After all, I grew up in Liyue Harbor and spent my
Elle vient de
entire
Liyue.
childhood staring at the ships going in and out of the port. I came to Sumeru to study, but failed to make it into the academia due to my lack of talent. But I'm still discussing all kinds of problems with different scholars, and I'm continuing to study and perform research from the restaurant's basement. I'm sure I'll get to the academia after their next round of exams.
What an admirable spirit for learning. Amazing.
Sure. But you'll find hardworking people wherever you go.
So this restaurant has a basement as well? Huh. First I've heard of it.
That's right. It's not usually open to patrons. Most of the time, employees use it for breaks or to hold private events.
I see. Guess that makes sense. Well, good luck with your studies, Miss Chishan.
Thank you so much. As long as I can make it into the academia as an official student, I'll be happy.
Ok.
Quit following me.
So, was that everybody?
Mm-hmm. 3 familiar faces.
What's the point of all the information we've collected?
Nahida Sataria is already used to avoiding her problems, so we must find a way to break through her I remember you mentioned that the Eremites in Port Ormuz are all making a fuss about the upcoming resurrection of King Deshret. Although it's all just a boatload of nonsense, the fate of her homeland may turn out to be Sataria.
Oh, Paimon gets it now! You want to take advantage of the guilt, Satari. Although she knows she should return home to help the people of the desert, all she's done is conspire with the sages. So,
Well, King Deshret is long gone, and Sataria is also too smart to fall for any simple tricks. If we simply engaged her under the guise of King Deshret's believers, she would definitely be wary of us, and we may not get anywhere. But if we were to borrow some of her close acquaintances,
so you mean you're going to
yep, possess them through the Akasha, imply they've already converted to the faith of King Deshret, and then convey our made-up. As long as everything goes smoothly, we'll get through to Sataria for sure. She'll never guess that we had anything to do.
so that's how you're going to use all the info we collected on these people. It's so that you won't slip up and break.
Exactly. So, best of luck with
Huh? Best of luck? But we don't know how to.
That's no problem at all. I'll just share all their senses with you once I've possessed them. As long as you're also wearing an Akasha terminal, the effect will basically be as if you've possessed them.
Huh. That is pretty convenient. But why does he have...
Although I've been observing humans for a while, I've never...
You're not wrong. It's always been painfully obvious whenever you try to pass as
If it was at all possible, I would have preferred to leave these people...
Yeah, don't beat yourself up over it. We're only doing this to help everyone.
Alright, then...
Demain midi. Hop, hop. C'est la chambre de Jade là-bas? On dirait.
There's no such thing as pure freedom in this world. Even the wind cannot blow on forever. Too slow.
Oh, here she comes. Satari is here.
Let's quietly follow her. Once she starts talking to her acquaintances, we'll find a safe spot to begin possessing them. As for how we'll sway her to our side, I'll leave that to you. I trust you'll know what to say.
Looks like they've already started talking. Let's find a hiding spot.
That's right. You really can't force anything when it comes to love. And besides, everyone around me has a very different background and outlook. Are you still listening to me?
Oh, of course I'm listening. You were talking about troubles with your love life, right?
Okay then. You just seemed a little distracted for a moment there. Strange. Your cats seem pretty worked up. I always thought they were quiet, happy kitties. Oh, what are their names again? Ah, that's right. They are just little darlings, aren't they? Harut and Marut.
So, which fortune do you want me to read for you today?
I'd like to get another reading on my love prospects, but to be perfectly honest with you, I feel like I've been a real mess recently.
A mess?
Well, could you do a reading on how long it'll take me to finish my current project at work? I really just want to get it over with.
I hear you. No problem at all. The god... The gods are asking, Setaria, why haven't you gone home?
Why haven't I gone home?
Setaria, why don't you just go home? It's a demand now instead of a question. The gods seem to be truly upset.
I'm sorry. I know I failed the gods. And if I may ask, Nabia, is there a specific god who's speaking to you right now?
What an inconsiderate and naive question. The god who is speaking to me is, of course, the...
King Deshret? No wonder he would make such a demand of me. Wait a second. King Deshret passed away a long time. Even though news of King Deshret's resurrection has been spreading like wildfire, it's all just a misinformation campaign from the academia. How can King Deshret still exist in real life?
Insolence! I am King Deshret's most loyal believer. Do you wish to
Oh, no. As a child of the desert, I am only reveling in his power upon learning that his I will think very carefully about his demand of me. I'm sorry. I must go now.
Wait!
Oh, she just ran off in a hurry. She looked
Ah,
pretty
salut
upset
Yamina,
too.
comment ça va?
Well done. Setaria didn't seem to suspect anything amiss.
Oh, ça va bien, merci.
To have something she's been trying desperately to avoid show up out of nowhere and berate her, that must have shaken her to the core.
Aw, Nahida, it seems like you understand human emotions really well.
Moi, je suis en train de faire les quêtes principales à Semeru. Je suis à l'acte 3.
All I know are some abstract Harabatot theories. And in any case, my time with you has shown a lot of them to be utterly useless. I'm still trying to make sense of them.
Je suis niveau d'aventure 49.
Anyway, enough of that. Let's hurry and catch up to
She's out of Keem's now, right on cue. Let's get ready to possess him right away.
It's okay. I just got caught up in something.
Oh, pas tant que ça. Je suis pas si intéressé que ça par les persos que j'allais bannir.
Oh, actually, didn't you ask me to help you look for work? What kind of work were you looking for again? Oh, right. Your old man's craft. How could I forget?
Bah, j'aurais bien voulu avoir la
How's he
Shogun,
doing?
mais j'ai raté mon
Feeling any
50-50.
better?
Et Là, si je devais avoir quelqu'un, j'aurais tendance à dire Ayaka, je pense. Qui m'intéresse. Kazuha aussi.
Oh, that's good to hear. I've been thinking a lot about him. If I could get some more Actually, while we're talking about him, is he...
Yeah, he's been retired there for a while.
If you could find the time, please write him a letter. Let him know that recently, faith in King Deshret has taken root in Port Ormos, and has begun to spread across Sumeru. He has a quick temper, and has always been a devout follower of the Dendro Archon. I don't want him to get into a fight with those King Deshret
Oh? So, who are you siding with in all of this? The Academia or King Deshret?
Ouais, je pense. Bon, on verra.
I'm so jealous of you. You were born a child of the desert, yet you chose to
J'ai une
betray
nomade il y a
King
pas longtemps.
Deshret, and now
Et au
you spend
50-50 que j'ai
all
loupé,
your
j'ai eu
time
Diluc.
with those crooks from the Academia.
Akeem, you don't mean... You've also become a believer of King...
What's so strange about becoming a believer of the wise King Deshret? In fact, aren't you the strange one? The one...
Can't pick a side? Me?
Whoa! Paimon had no idea you'd be so good at this!
You really zeroed in on the issue and put it right in front of her. It might feel a bit overwhelming for Sataria, but once everything is over, I'll be sure to pay her a visit to her mind and explain everything. Anyway.
Come on! Sataria's already started talking with...
So, Shishan, have you noticed anything weird and like, as if someone was trying to preach to you about something?
Oh, right. Speaking of I celebrated the Sub-Zerus festival so many times that...
Wait, how could you be aware of that? That should be impossible. Nothing in the report...
Are you still failing to realize that the Academia's
Shishan, don't tell me that you've
What an absurd question. You make it sound like I should be ashamed for becoming a believer of King In reality, shouldn't you be the one who is ashamed? You, who works...
Please, please stop!
Oui, je pense.
Even now, Sataria's still trying to run from her problems.
She can no longer justify everything to herself.
Hey, she's trying to talk to the guards! What should we do?
This is the most important part of all.
Mercenary, you're a member of the Corps of 30, correct? Please help me pass a message to the Matcha right away. The situation...
Please, try to remain calm, miss.
Heretics are infiltrating the city, and they've already converted many residents to their side.
Heretics? What kind of heresy are...
King Deshret! Many people I know have suddenly started believing in him, but he's long dead. It's impossible.
Miss Sataria, nothing...
You know my name?
King Deshret is immortal, and all who defy him will one day pay the price.
You must face the truth, Sataria. You tread a treacherous path, and the longer you ignore it, the tighter the Academia's grasp on you will become, and the deeper you will be ensnared.
Child of King Deshret,
Never forget that the desert that belongs to you lies elsewhere.
What's so strange about becoming a believer of the wise King Deshret? In fact, aren't you the strange one? The one who still can't pick a side?
What an absurd question. You make it sound like I should be ashamed for becoming a believer of King Deshret.
Sataria, why haven't you gone home?
Qui?
It seems that no matter where I run, I only keep finding more believers of King Deshret. I've also been running from my guilt this whole time. Guilt over my part in the Sage's plan. But no matter how much I may try to ignore and get rid of it, My guilt always comes back.
You won't necessarily lose your research opportunities by facing the truth. Besides, did you really—
How do you know me so well? Are you truly just a believer of King Deshret?
That's not important. The important thing is to pass judgment on the academia and its sages, and to correct their mistakes. If you could provide some assistance in this matter, perhaps it could serve as a form of atonement.
I've actually never believed in the gods, but I've always believed in serendipity. Your appearance must be a fated— Please tell me, what can I—
How much do you know about the sage's current activity?
I was just one of the designers for the masked dream harvest scheme, which is what happened around the Sub-Zeru's festival. But I know very little about the full scope of the overall project. I'd assume that only staff with the highest clearance would have access to those confidential— I've just been working to meet the Grand Sage's specified requirements. However, there's something that's been really bothering me. I heard that a scholar who was previously expelled has returned to the city, and even the sages are still quite wary of him.
To fight against the academia, we will need to figure out the nature and the purpose of their work. Is there a way for us—
It should be possible if we're willing to take some risks. After all, I'm an assistant to the Grand Sage. One thing though, I won't be able to transfer the documents to you through the Akasha once I get my hands on them. The sages have always closely monitored— let me see— let's use the most primitive—
The academia entrance. Wouldn't that be too conspicuous?
Don't worry about that. I assure you, this won't be a trap. I'm only suggesting this location because it'll draw more scrutiny for me to leave the academia again. It'll be safest for me to distract the guards long enough to hand you the documents.
All right, I trust you.
So, if I were to successfully complete this
That'll depend on the judgment of the Dendro.
The Dendro Archon. That's right. Her people are the ones we have endangered. As the god of wisdom, she's also the one responsible for judging, and maybe it's time for me to find a god to believe in.
Just as Nahida predicted, we've managed to bring
The Traveler's execution was ingenious. He's the one who deserves all the well, now that we've made plans to meet again tomorrow evening.
Pray? But if we're going to pray to the gods, aren't we just praying to you? God of wisdom and guardian of the scholars?
No. The truth is the true guardian of scholars.
On va attendre 19h24 quoi. Enfin 19h minuit. Hop. Voilà.
That's right. I suppose I'm the other Catherine in your mind.
Shh! We're on a secret mission tonight, so we need to protect Catherine.
Yep, Paimon's right. We cannot fully rule out the chance that the meetup tonight is if something were to happen. My existence may be the only— After all, the academia should still be unable to confirm—
Yep, exactly. Just what Paimon was thinking. Anyway, enough about that. Let's just make sure to be on our guard. Off? What do you feel is off? It's the middle of the night. Of course it's quiet.
No, I think he's right. If you look around, there seems to be fewer people on the streets. I'm not—
Huh. Maybe it's just a coincidence. Maybe it's a—
I also can't quite figure out why things feel a little off.
Well, regardless.
C'est louche.
Huh. There really aren't many people out right now. Let's hope front of the Academia, and that Sataria managed to distract all the guards.
The wind rises.
What are all these people doing here at this hour of the night?
Ah, the triumphant hero returns at last. And to a rather spectacular welcome, even if I do say so myself.
You're the outcast, expelled from the Academia.
Indeed I am. Although these days they tend to call me the Doctor. If you're looking for your researcher friend, she has already been taken into confinement. With some basic caution, she could have discovered the listening device on her person. Clearly, she lacks the degree of rigor expected of a true scholar.
The people of Sumeru City. What have you done to them?
I simply made some minor adjustments to their Akasha terminals. Now they can deposit information directly into the subconscious. As you can see, all these lovely people now believe this traveler is a hero who has just saved the world. My experiment is a success. And now it seems they can no longer hold back their sheer adoration.
Oh no, what should we do? These are all just regular people.
Leave now. You need to get out of here.
What? That guy's a Fatui Harbinger! We can't just leave you here!
Nor can I abandon the people of Sumeru. Don't worry. We'll meet again outside of the city.
I see. You appear to have overridden their mental faculties with your own consciousness. To possess such a powerful mind, you must be the god of wisdom.
This should be far enough. Is Nahida going to be okay? We only made it out because of her. Paimon wasn't counting on running into a new Harbinger here, let alone... He called himself the Doctor. Remember, Tainari told us about him. Sataria did say that some, and that even the sages are wary of him. Yep. Sounds like she must have... Yeah. Now that the Doctor's in the picture, we're no longer just dealing with the Academia, but what are the Fatui after this time? Another Gnosis? Yeah, things would be... Nahida said we'll meet again outside of the city. You mean... Oh, right! Wasn't he invited by the sage even though he turned it down at the time? There's no time to lose.
Ok. On va aller voir Timnari s'il peut nous aider.
Squall and Fury. Est-ce qu'on va recroiser Collé aussi? Sûrement.
sûrement.
Hold it right there. A blonde-haired traveler and a floating fairy. We've got you, all right. Take a look around.
Are you mercenaries from the Corps of 30?
Corps of 30? We're nothing like those government lap. We are an elite brigade that commands the highest commission rate in all of Sumeru.
The outcast? An outcast from the Acad... But why wouldn't the doctor just send the Fatui after us?
Still wasting time on idle chit-chat.
You're up!
Wretched vermin!
Boba, get them! The night is cold. It isn't over yet! Here comes reinforcements! Cole, mine to commit. Let the show begin.
Behold!
That was pretty rough. Is that what elite mercenaries are like? Yeah, looks like we'll have... But this doctor guy seems like a pretty tough opponent. Going up against smart...
Mais du coup, il avait l'air de savoir qu'on viendrait ici. Tiens, il y a collé.
Oh, it's the traveler in Paimon. What do you two do? Holly, it's nice to see you. To be honest, I'm not doing too well. My Elazar has been progressing as a result, Master Tighnari is taking me off the patrol schedule. He will only allow me to stay here and coordinate other people. Oh, Kale. Speaking of Tighnari, did he go off on patrol? Oh, Master Tighnari? You just left the Avidia fort? He left? But isn't Tighnari... I thought it was weird too. Master Tighnari always prioritizes his work as a forest watcher. No, I only found out that he left... to leave in such a hurry? Master Tighnari originally studied in the Immorta Darshan of the Academia. And part of Stiai is something like... I know that before he became a forest watcher. Master... A research base, huh? Gotta wonder what kind of Oh, we don't have a lot of time, so let's go look for him at Party Stiai. Don't worry. I'm fine. I'm used to living with... Got it. Will do.
Ok. J'ai un point de TP juste à côté. Tiens.
Wait! Look who it is! Thank goodness you're okay. We were so worried about you. Hey! This was supposed to be a touch and... Actually, it's very smart of the Traveler to be wary of me right now. After a plus, it's not like you could have known what happened after we split up, and I was facing the... Even a pool of stagnant water after a torrential storm can occasionally pass... Paimon feels like only the real Nahida could come up with such an obscure analogy. Huh? But I wasn't trying to win your trust or anything. Well, we understand that point now. Please, Nahida, tell us more. When you left, I was still in the middle of restoring everyone's minds. Thankfully, when the doctor mentioned depositing information into the subconscious, he didn't mean engraving information into their mind. Instead, he did something closer to creating hallucinations. That was still within my... Luckily, I managed to finish my restorations and mind jump away from him just as he was about to capture me. What a relief. The doctor sure pulled out some... I wouldn't be relieved just yet. I gave away my true identity when I restored everyone's minds. Which means also...
The doctor is already an expert at modifying Akasha terminals. Maybe it's only a matter of time until...
Would that mean you'd no longer be able to jump between minds? Then how do we stop him? He's still at the Academia, so it's possible he already started messing with the Akasha. Ugh. Feels like he's toying with the... Plus, the doctor's combat ability alone is apparently enough to make him worthy of being...
We shouldn't give up hope just yet. Let's try the...
Actually, Nahida, how did you know we were trying to get to Party Steep?
Yes, I have. I can see the Traveler's elemental energy, so I deduced her destination by looking at the direction you were moving in. You didn't come here for sightseeing, right?
We're looking for a scholar we know. His name is Kainari, and the sages once tried to reach out to...
Okay, let's just hope we...
Too slow.
Ah, c'est la femme.
Traveler?
Ah, it's Hypatia!
Ouais.
Ah, what a pleasant surprise! It's so nice to...
Who's this?
She's a scholar we met in the Avidia Forest. When we last saw each other, she was still training in...
Oh, I see.
That's right, we're old friends. You've come at just the right time. Ever since I've come here, hardly anyone has even talked to me.
Hypatia, you're way too excited about this. Actually, for you to leave the Avidia... Wait, no. Did you already finish your training and reach...
My consciousness has already managed to make
You did it? Congratulations!
It's so exhilarating to share when my consciousness made contact with the gods. Ah, what a supreme and unparalleled...
That sounds incredible!
Oh, all right. Actually, remember? I promised to help you understand what you saw from Irminsul once I gained deeper insights. My current self has not only gained true insight, but I can even help you establish a direct connect...
You can do that?
I've never heard of anything like that, but... If you want to give it a try, I'll do my best to protect your consciousness during the process.
Hold on. I brought some spirit-born ale with me. This is still a...
we're...
All right now. Hold my hand. I'll help you establish a pathway to...
Okay.
Ready?
It took 3 betrayals for me to finally understand. The world is just an elaborate tapestry of lies. My fury will never be quelled. The first to betray me was a god. My creator. My mother. Valuing strength above all, she saw no worth in me and I was discarded. The second was a human. My family. My friend. Consumed by fear, he saw me as an abomination. The third was one exactly like me. A hope for the future. A fledgling barely out of the nest. Powerless before his mortality, he broke his promise to me. Humans, they can't be trusted. And the gods fill me with pure loathing. So I said good riddance. I denounce the world and laugh in its face. My chest will never again be defiled by worldly filth. I will scrub away every last trace of human emotion. Then it will be empty, a blank slate, and ready to receive a supreme gnosis, brimming with pure divinity. There is no need to fear. The pain will be brief. Your era is coming to an end.
Ok.
What was that? Did we actually just see the Balladier's memories? Everything matches what we know about him. But how is he connected to the divine consciousness that Hypatia was talking about?
You saw it, right? You felt it, right? Such a majestic god! Alas, shame. If only that which beats within my chest wasn't a filthy mortal heart. Oh, great and merciful God! Please grant me forgiveness.
You understand now? I'm afraid this is no periportal life, but rather...
Ah! You! Why are you so mean to— I found divine wisdom. Shouldn't I receive—
Hypatia?
That's how I always thought everything— Wait, have I already lost my mind?
Wait, something isn't right.
Wow. Ok.
Okay, we finally lost him. Are you okay, Nahida? Wait,
Oh, the Traveler's back?
Nahida was controlling your body for a while. It seemed like she jumped over to you as an emergency measure right before the Catherine puppet was destroyed. After that, Kainari heard the commotion and came over. He helped us defeat the mercenaries and then he ran with us all the way here. What? You swapped places? You mean your consciousness also— Wait, then where is the—
I never imagined that an individual's consciousness could be transferred around like this. Had I not seen it with my own eyes, I would have never believed it. I don't— Also, while we were running, the consciousness in your body told me to pass on a message. She said, "The doctor has found a way to trap my consciousness, so I can't journey with you anymore." But even in a moonless night, a shower of starlight can still drown out illusions and lies.
Oh no! Nahida's trapped in the sanctuary of Surathana for good. Was that message all she left for us? It's pretty vague. Oh, that makes sense! Since the doctor captured her, she won't be able to say anything without him knowing. Even in a moonless night, a shower of starlight can still drown out illusions and— Paimon knows the moon illusions and lies are from the alchemical divination. Didn't Nahida use a starlight analogy before? It had something to do with Sataria.
Paimon. You said Sanctuary of Surasthana. Does this mean that this Nahida you're talking about, the consciousness who was occupying the traveler's body, is the Dendro?
Your guess is correct, but the situation's a bit
That's all right. A scholar's curiosity doesn't need to be appeased right away. As for the complicated nature of the situation, I've spent some time with you, and it looks like the Dendro Archon's also on your side, so...
Thank you, Tamari. Oh, actually, we came here to ask you a question.
Ah, that. While I was indeed invited to join that project, the sages were always secretive about its scope. All I know is that that project has something to do with the restoration of Irminsul.
Huh? Did you see something when you were in Nahida's body? What?
Do you have any evidence? So that's what happened. That explains why Hypatia's symptoms were different from those of the other scholars.
Hinari, did you leave the Avidia Forest because of a...
I did. I noticed Hypatia's mental anomalies, but since her symptoms were rather atypical, I secretly took her to Pardes Dehya and began If I didn't take action, Hypatia would have already been taken by the Matra to the desert, doomed to a life of exile at Aru village. Now that you mention it, I knew the Academia has never thought particularly highly of Lesser Lord Kusan, but I still didn't expect them to do something as arrogant as creating a new god. Looks like I made the right decision by not accepting their invitation. The Doctor and the Balladeer. We have two. From your description, I don't think they've completed their project. Then, what is the connection between creating a new god and restoring Irminsul?
Yeah, it feels like we're still nowhere close to figuring out the sage's goals. Right, we've pretty much gone over everything we need to know.
I'll stay here for now. I still want to try a few more things to help Hypatia. If you're planning to go into the desert, start by heading for Caravan Rabat. Come find me here if there's anything else I can do to help.
Thanks, Tainari. Hopefully...
Et... J'ai pas le point de TP.
You want... Use my hat as an umbrella? The audacity to even make that request. The wind rises.
Hop. C'est pour ça que mon perso il est broken, c'est à moitié un jeu.
Too slow.
Évidemment.
Behold.
Nice and spicy. Yeah, my guidance.
Squall and fury.
Ça pour un coffre nul en plus. Hein. Ok.
We finally made it to Caravan Reebok. It's pretty live, so just past this wall. Oh, wow. Paimon remembers hearing people call this the Wall of Samiel. It's made to block sandstorms from the outside. Oh, if it's this...
Enough gawking. Come on, follow me.
Huh?
Over here.
Il fait là.
Alhaitham went that way! Let's hurry up and follow him. Wonder what he's up to.
Too slow.
What the? Where did he go? How did we lose him? They were just...
More Aramite mercenaries? Who are they working for?
You were too careless. You should have noticed those hopeless amateurs trailing you a long time ago. There's no need to thank me. I've never cared to keep track of personal favors. All I did was correct a mistake I happened to come across. It's a habit I developed at the Academia.
You really gave Paimon a scare, Alhaitham. We never thought we'd run into you. Last time we met at Port Ormos, didn't you say you were going back to the Academia? Wait, don't tell Paimon that you're...
Oh, so you've already landed yourselves on the Academia's hit list. However, had I wished to turn you over to the Academia, don't you think you'd...
Oh, right. You do have a point.
I have no interest in running errands for that project. As a scholar, I've always belonged to the camp that promotes researcher autonomy. And these days, you're more fascinating than anything the sages can. Not quite. To tell you the truth, I'm still investigating the Divine Knowledge Capsule. Unfortunately, everyone says the capsule originated in the desert and was eventually moved to Port Ormos. If I am to get to the bottom of this, I must... Which brings me back to you, and why you're... The leader of Ain al-Ahmar used the Divine Knowledge Capsule right in front of you, and upon seeing him, your expression became perplexed, and you were lost in thought for quite some time. To have that kind of reaction, I think you must have realized...
Alhaitham, you really have a ridiculous eye for detail. What kind of person even noticed?
So that's your answer. Well, I do work, but that does prove you do have some undisclosed information. No matter. Rather than simply learning the answers from you, I'd still prefer to...
That's right! We have the same plan as you! But...
Then I'd suggest starting with Aru Village. It's the largest settlement in the desert, so it'll probably have more resources and intel than anywhere else. Well...
It's always better to travel with some...
Hop, on se TP à la statue.
Before us lies Aru Village, the safe haven of the desert folk.
Whoa, this landscape is really something else. What a cool place!
Je trouve que le jeu avec Crash.
Unless my memory fails me, we have barely spoken 2 words to each other before now at the Academia. Would you care?
Alhaitham, do not think you can escape my judgment just because you met.
Judgment? So that's how you'd characterize your actions.
Had I used my full strength, not even this traveler would have been able to stop me. Though styled like an assassination, I sought only to ensure that my target would be unable to flee or resist. Standard practice for the Matra, as well you know.
Seemed to me more like your own personal type.
Who is that, Alhaitham?
Yes. General Mahamatra Cyno, head of all the Matra at the Academia. He's a formidable hunter, and the ultimate—
You seem to have placed a lot of trust in Alhaitham, to the point of blocking an attack for him. If I were you, I'd never choose to side with him. I wouldn't believe a single word that comes out of his mouth. I have been pursuing this scribe for a long time. I urge you, stand back and do not seek to defend him any longer. Otherwise...
Has Alhaitham done something wrong? Paimon doesn't think he's as bad as you've made him out.
I won't waste my breath explaining things. Alhaitham, I saw it during our fight. Take it out. The divine knowledge capsule you're hiding on your person.
Very perceptive of you. Nothing escapes a Matra.
Wait, the divine knowledge capsule? Didn't it fall into the Matra's hands in Port Ormos?
No wonder you speak with such confidence, Cyno. But I must admit, I'm very curious. What does this capsule mean to you? And why, as General Mahamatra of the Academia, are you? As far as I'm aware, the other Matra have been speculating about your disappearance. Have you been given a mission that, if I was the real target of your mission, what was stopping you from simply using your authority and resources to judge me within the walls of the Academia?
I should have known you'd be difficult to deal with.
You two? Ugh! What you would do, Traveler? Paimon feels like we can't—
Well, look at you two, acting all tough and self-righteous over there.
Ah, Dehya.
Wait, Dehya? Great! Finally, someone that we can trust! You gotta help us out here, otherwise these two are gonna start fighting again!
Yeah, sure looks that way. 2 giants from the Academia duking it out once and for all. Not something— Listen, I know you academic types love to fill up your big brains with self-righteous morality and lord your empty rules but how dare you bring your petty disputes into the safe haven of Aru Village? It seems like someone's gonna have to beat some sense into your thick skulls until you finally learn to respect these grounds. Hey, did either of you hear a—
Whoa, what's going on? The wind's so strong!
Another sandstorm? What's up with these recently?
Hey! All of you, over here, quickly! We have—
Someone's calling for us! Oh, this—
That sounded like Candace. Come on, you two. Jeez, are all of you Academia folks—
All right.
Ok. Heureusement qu'il y a cette tempête de sable pour les calmer, apparemment. Le dialogue.
This is— Hey, wanna play sardines with 3 people who wanna tear each other limb from limb? Sure, why not? Sounds fun. The air is so thick and heavy. Paimon can hardly keep floating anymore.
My sincere apologies, everyone. This is the home of our village chief. I will have to ask you to make do with this small room until the sandstorm. Please, let me introduce myself. I am Candace, protector of Aru
Oh, les
Village.
suites de couleurs différentes.
Our savior has come. Nice to meet you, Candace. The name's Paimon.
There's no need to thank me.
Wow, she's so gentle and caring. caring, like a nice older sister.
All right. Now that we're all better acquainted, as a guardian charged with the responsibility to protect my fellow villagers from harm, I was observing your conflict from and now that you have set foot within our village itself, it is all the more my responsibility to make. So please, have an honest and sincere conversation with one another, and put your hostile
Je vais aller voir mon
feelings
chien, il
to rest.
aboie. J'en ai pas pour longtemps. Ah, c'est vraiment chiant, y a rien. Y a rien. Alors du coup, Candace, qu'est-ce qu'elle dit? S'il vous plaît. Alors s'il vous plaît, il y a une conversation nette et sincère les uns avec les autres. Évitez.
If anyone dares to start anything again while they are under this roof,
Oui, c'est pour ça que je dis
I
pas à
will
voix
not
haute, parce que je ne sais pas
hesitate to
lire.
send them out for some quality time with the creatures of the sandstorm.
Je lis très bien dans ma tête, assez vite même, mais à voix haute, j'y arrive pas.
And that goes for you too, Miss Dehya. Do I make myself
All right, we got.
That's what I like to hear.
I was supposed to be a mediator, but I might have gotten a little too involved just now. Anyway, one of those two should probably start talking.
Wait, that was you trying.
I have nothing to hide, so there's no shame in explaining my. While Alhaitham wasn't wrong about the other Matra not knowing my whereabouts, it's not because I've been assigned a morally dubious mission. Rather, I've chosen.
Huh? Exile yourself?
A little while ago, I discovered that there was data missing in the Academia's project planning and development files. What little they did report clearly did not match the As General Mahamatra, I had the responsibility and authority to request an audit. However, to my surprise, I tried to investigate the issue myself before submitting a formal audit request. But I soon found that all leads and potential pieces of incriminating evidence, I began to realize that they were cautious of me from the very beginning. Unsurprisingly, the Grand Sage rejected my audit request as soon as the submission. The power of the General Mahamatra is granted by the sages. You have no right to judge us.
So they really are up to no good.
I realized then that to the Grand Sage, the Matra are nothing more than tools for the sages to assert and maintain their control over knowledge. The vows that we took, the principles that we strive to uphold, they are meaningless to the Academia. I believed it would be wise to flee the Academia before the sages had a chance to take action against me. This way, I will never give up on this investigation. There's no need for someone else to give me power or authority. Once I find the truth.
Cyno seems to have the same goal as us. We're all investigating the sages. Plus, now that he's no longer the General Mahamatra, he somehow feels a lot less scary. Well, Cyno, if that's your story, then why did you see
When I was investigating the matter in the Academia, I overheard a conversation between the sages asked you to investigate a blonde-haired traveler. Like many parts of the project, this assignment was undocumented. Now throw in your suspicious behavior with the divine knowledge capsule, and I think we deserve an explanation.
Yes, I was indeed tasked with.
Alhaitham!
After all, the promised reward was so great that hardly any scholar could have refused. The sage told me, once you've completed this assignment, I can give you a glimpse of divine knowledge.
A most enticing offer.
Unfortunately, those academics don't know me at all. Their words contained one key piece of information, namely that divine knowledge indeed exists. That gave me all I needed. From my perspective, the sages are far from trustworthy. Think about it. Isn't it a little strange they're so willing to share divine knowledge with anyone, even as a reward? So, I began my own investigation following the lead of the divine knowledge capsule. In the end, I realized my wisdom in committing to this rather than collaborating with this. Had I been less guarded, I probably would have ended up like that Ain al-Ahmar mercenary, incapable of remaining sane for long enough to hold a conversation.
You mean that the sages originally planned to dispose of you, using one of those capsules that drive people insane?
I'd already given up on the assignment by then. I only told the Academia I was waiting in Port Ormos for you to appear so they wouldn't suspect anything. So it came as quite a surprise when I encountered my erstwhile target while investigating the divine knowledge capsule.
Criminals do love to talk about coincidences.
Even though I ran into the Traveler by chance, I had no intention of providing assistance to the Academia. Also, you were the ones who decided to follow me and strike up a conversation after I left that tavern.
That's true. Alhaitham helped us out at Caravan Rebot as well.
I'm willing to apologize, if that's worth anything to you. I took the divine knowledge capsule behind your back because I judged its existence to be a significant risk. I felt that it would be best for no one to interact with it before it had been properly studied. After all, curiosity often proves to be the most—
You should be well aware, Scribe Alhaitham, that curiosity can also lead you to danger and suspicion. Answer me this. Did the sages share—
Have I not made myself clear? You and I are both distrusted by the Academia. Do you really think they would tell me anything?
Fine. Although you haven't completely proven your innocence, I won't regard you as an enemy, for now.
As you wish.
Good. I'm glad to see you two. And now you, Dehya. I believe it's—
Oh, sorry. Whatever the boys were talking about must have been so boring that I spaced out. My situation is pretty straightforward. My employer, Dunyarzad of the Homayani family, is friends with the I had nothing going on, so I decided to return to Aru village for a visit. I was actually looking forward to a pretty exciting time getting back together with everyone here. But then I saw these two random guys in the middle of a pointless argument. It ticked me off.
Is that all? Well, I will admit that definitely sounds like your style.
And that's more like it. I missed you all so much, Candace.
Whoa! What was that sound?
No need to worry. Now that you're no longer at each other's throats, please make yourselves at home. I'll take a quick trip outside to clear out some of those creatures in the sandstorm.
Creatures? In the sandstorm?
Fighting in a sandstorm is not for the faint-hearted. Anyone without extensive training in these—
Yeah, just leave him to Candace. Don't worry, she's as tough.
The winds died down. That means the sandstorm's Candace still isn't back yet, though.
When you put it that way, even I'm starting to feel a little worried. All right, let's go.
Quatuor à couteau tiré. Quatuor, donc ça veut dire que Paimon ne compte pas. Désolé Paimon, hein. C'est pas moi qui le dis. Qu'est-ce qu'elle fait là-bas, Paimon?
Oh, Candace, you're still fighting? You've been out here dealing with these creatures?
Yes. They just keep coming in waves. I've lost count of how many I've defeated. Before I realized it, even the sandstorm had stopped.
Ah! Here comes—
Leave this round to us.
It's been quite a while since
I'll be sure to put on a good show. Let's go!
Boba, get the— Not now. Don't be scared.
Behold!
Here comes another wave. When are they ever gonna let up? My guiding star.
squall and fury.
The creature stopped appearing.
What we fought just now was probably the aftermath of the sandstorm. So we should be safe for the time being.
Well fought, everyone. No injuries, I hope.
Huh? Who are you?
Ah, my apologies. I haven't had a chance to greet you yet. I had my hands full taking... I am the chief of Aru village. Everyone usually...
Sir, I am also originally from the desert, but I have not been back for some time now. May I ask if such sandstorms are common?
I can't say they've always been common, but recently the storms have become increased. Besides sandstorms, we also occasionally get earthquakes. According to an investigator who stayed in the village a while ago...
Another effect. So, Irminsul's withering causes withering zones in the forest, and sandstorms and earthquakes here in the...
Everything in the natural world is inextricably connected to Irminsul. These...
Everyone in Aru village needs to take good care of... speaking of which, why haven't I seen a single village keeper since I got here?
Village keeper? Who are they?
Does your curiosity know no bounds? Village Keeper is how Aru village refers to mad scholars, exiled here by the Most of them are scholars who lost their sanity after a period of training in the Avidia forest. The Academia believes that their crazed mutterings may have a negative effect on the psyches of other scholars. So, they're forcibly exiled to the desert. Though if you ask me...
Alas, that's exactly what we've been trying to investigate. One by one, but no one in the village has ever seen them leave. If you're planning to stay around the village...
I've had encounters with those people in the past. I'll see what I...
The Matra are the ones responsible for their exile. Now that you're no longer with them, are you trying to alleviate your guilt and atone for your past sins? I'm fascinated by how you think.
Mock me if you will, but if you are guilty, I will eliminate you, regardless of my position or identity.
Oh, you're the former General Mahamatra. You must be an expert in these kinds of
Is it because you're reminded of Hypatia? Oh, these poor scholars. First they lose their sick, but is it really a good idea to tag along with Cyno?
I'll be grateful for the assistance. No doubt you will do a better job than some of my former subordinates. Let's start by finding a spot to share what we know.
Ok. Récolte des primogèmes en fait avec toutes ces missions. Pas trop, j'ai l'impression. Il y a un truc là.
Although I've sent myself into exile, I'm still doing essentially the same things as before. Do you still have any questions for me before we start our investigation? One of my former subordinates told me that this title has its origins in a strange incident. The Academia has long exiled mad scholars to Aru village. When mad scholars first arrive, they are as incoherent and deranged as before. But after spending some time here, initially, the people of Aru village greatly resented having to take in the mad scholars. But a strange incident, Aru village was struck by the strongest earthquake in living memory. Seeing buildings on the verge of collapse all around him, the then chief of the village was preparing to take... Suddenly, he noticed a mad scholar crouching in a corner, caressing the ground with his hands. A soft, green light radiated from him, like a divine glow against the... Despite the powerful tremors that ripped through the ground that night, all the houses remained upright, almost as if they had grown roots reaching deep into the ground. In the end, Not a single building collapsed, and no one was hurt after that. The people of Aru village treated the mad scholars with greater kindness, and began to refer to them as the
Soft green light? A mad scholar protecting Aru village? What do you make of it, Travel? Paimon thinks so too. Actually, Cyno, do you know if any of the mad scholars continue?
In theory, they would continue wearing them so the academia could still monitor their activities. With that said, the main Akasha system would no longer have any interaction.
Oh, no wonder! Everything makes sense then! Add in the fact that they calmed down, it was probably Nahida who calmed them.
If you are able to draw a conclusion from this one story alone, then it appears. So, what do you make of the story? Really?
What? You don't believe us? Lesser Lord Kusanali was definitely using the Akasha to give—
No, it's not so much that I don't believe you. I'm just struck by your reasoning. Lesser Lord Kusanali, the current Dendro Archon. Is she really active in Sumeru? The Academia has always placed far greater importance on the late Greater Lord Rukkhadevata.
Ce qui est chiant, je vais aller voir.
They've more or less ignored
Désolé.
Lesser Lord Kusanali, and I've never had any reason to doubt their views.
Bon, excusez-moi. Il a beau encore pour rien. Alors, l'académie a toujours accordé plus d'importance à l'âme. On va...
In addition, I've never heard any stories about Lesser Lord Kusanali and her deed.
No way! Nahida definitely exists! She's a— how should Paimon put it? She's a good Archon who's kind and wise. Even if she says weird stuff sometimes.
I've spent many years interrogating criminals, so I can easily tell when someone is lying.
Good! Then you should know—
That look in your eyes. I've never seen that from a liar. How can this be? To think. Our Archon—
Alright, now it's our turn to put our skills to good use for this, but easier said than done. Especially since we don't have any—
Excuse me, are you here to help me find my
Huh?
By the sounds of it, a resident of this village.
My name is Isak. You'll help—
Is your grandpa a mad scholar?
Hey, don't say that. Grandpa is just Grandpa. Why do you have to call him that? It's not like he's a bad person or anything.
The person you're referring to is not a local. Yet you are. Why do you call him Grandpa?
Grandpa is just Grandpa. He's my family. I heard everything you said to the village chief. Please, you gotta take me with you. I want to find my grandpa. I swear
Ah, so you're the one who was eavesdropping on us around the village chief's— I was planning to go out and take care of whoever it was. But I had a vague feeling that they—
Whoa! Alhaitham wasn't kidding about Matra having sharp senses. Cyno, he's just a kid!
Sorry. I was only listening in because I wanted to know where Grandpa went. Honest. If you don't believe me, you can ask Miss Candace.
All right. But first—
Quit following me. The wind rises.
Ok.
Cyno is super vigilant.
You're back already.
We just wanted to confirm something with you. Do you
I had a feeling.
Huh? You...
Yes. Although he tried his best to stay hidden, I still noticed him eavesdropping outside the window. Isak's parents were both Aramite mercenaries who rarely returned to the village after finding employment in the city. Unfortunately, it was only a few years before his grandpa passed away. Isak was still very young at the time. So later, an elderly mad scholar arrived at the village. Isak thought the scholar bored. However, the scholar was unkempt in appearance and incoherent in speech. Although Isak referred to the man as his grandpa, one summer night, the oft mumbling and bumbling grandpa suddenly calmed down and seemed to become more lucid. He even noticed Isak hiding in the... So Grandpa walked up to Isak and patted him on the head. He even took Isak to the entrance of the village, where he patiently taught the boy the names of the stars, and accompanied him. The next morning, Isak woke up and wanted to go find his grandpa again, only to realize his grandpa no longer recognized him. However, even so, it's said that those who saw the scholar claimed he no longer appeared to be crazy, but appeared to be living in his own world, almost as if he were sleepwalking. Isak was thrilled that his grandpa was able to find peace and would follow him all the time, asking him things like, "Grandpa."
All this somehow just makes Paimon feel really sad. It seems like...
Perhaps. Nearly everyone who lives in the desert has some form of hardship or regret. It's also my reason for fighting. I must continue.
Maybe the people have always had a considerate god watching over them.
Huh? What?
No, nothing. As long as Isak keeps his word and doesn't get in our way, we can take him along.
Perhaps you are more compassionate than I gave you credit for.
Hey, Isak! Oh, it's you guys! We've cleared everything up! Let's go find your... Really? Yeah!
Alright.
Ok. On a fini l'acte 3. On tente, hein. On sait jamais. Tant pis.
Excuse me, did you happen to see where the missing scholars went?
You mean the village keepers? Oh, let me think. When I was eating dinner the other day, I saw one of them by the side of the road, muttering away and eating mushrooms and tree roots. They shouldn't go around eating that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Anything else?
The scholars that have gone missing. Have you
Those eyes. Those fierce eyes.
Don't change the subject.
Right. You were asking about the the mad scholars. I think it's been a few days since I last saw them. I usually go to bed pretty early, so I'm not... But honestly, I feel quite sympathetic towards them. Even though they act a little strange.
Do you also think Grandpa and the others are good?
Grandpa? Oh, hello there. It's little Isak. You mean that nice man who looks like your grandpa? He was actually the one who protected my house. I saw it with my own eyes. He happened to be staying near my... It still feels pretty surreal now that I think back on it. Did someone... Well, whatever the case, I'll always be thankful to him and whoever taught him to look at...
Gotcha!
Genre, elle vient de balancer comme ça que son grand-père était mort. Au calme.
Sir, have you seen my grandpa recently?
Oh, well, if it isn't Isak. The last time I saw him, he was spacing out by the road as usual. I went and asked him if he'd like any of the food I had prepared, despite my wife's protests. Like many people, she's really quite... And speaking of my wife, she's still always complaining about how I don't make enough mora.
Oh, thank you.
It was nothing. You're looking for...
Yeah.
That's no good. Well, once you found him, come... I've known you since you were very young. So as far as I'm concerned, you're family. Please feel...
Wow, what a night... Okay, thank you, sir.
Huh? Don't say anything for... Let's head over there. Stay...
Too slow.
Ok, qu'est-ce qu'il a à me dire?
Listen, see if you can make out what they're saying.
Have you heard? The mighty King Deshret, the sovereign of our faith, will soon return to this world.
Yes, of course I have. King Deshret is the one and only true ruler of this land. Still, you say he's coming back, but it sure doesn't feel...
Haven't you noticed? The village has been getting more direct. Delavar was saying that many people also went insane just before the fall of King Deshret's civilization in ancient times. We don't quite know why, but it seems like... Isn't it a sign of King Deshret's power that all the mad scholars have disappeared? If you ask me, they must have been chosen as the final sacrifice for King Deshret's resurrection.
Huh. Now that you say it, that does make some sense.
Exactly. Those city folks will get what's coming to them.
Now, repeat everything you've just said from the...
Huh? Who are you?
My patience is running thin. You heard what I asked.
Yeah, bro, this guy's something else.
Let's not get on his bad side, okay? I am no...
Okay, good sir. What is it you would like to know?
Tell me about King Deshret.
Well, I only know a few things from hearsay. I went for a drink the other day and heard others talking about a rumor that the madmen will disappear and that King Deshret will return.
Hey, go on.
It's true. It's all true, sir. We desert folk have had more than enough of those people at the academia. They keep sending us all their mad scholars and won't let us have a good life. Would you want to live like this if you were in our place? The radicals were even more thrilled than me when they heard the news. We're all praying. Delavar also said that once King Deshret returns to our side, it's only a matter of time before we conquer the land on the other side of the wall. They're all willing to serve under King Deshret and fight for a share of the glory.
Is that...
Seems like he still wants to know more.
Got it! At first, I told myself it was just the drink talking. But then all the mad... Please, don't beat me up just for mentioning these rumors. If I'm guilty, then everyone else around here is also guilty. I'm just saying what the others said.
The people here really like King Deshret, but dislike the Dendro Archon.
Where is this radical person you talked about?
I haven't run into him over the past few days.
Non, c'est mon petit chien qui va descendre.
No, not at all. We wouldn't do...
Sounds like you're not too close with the rat.
No, of course not.
Parce qu'elle est chiante aussi.
All we know are their names.
Ça me saoule d'être dérangé comme ça pendant mes streams.
I have many ways to stop you from talking. and many others to stop you from sending warning messages. So you'd best just stay home and hope I don't hear of you trying to contact it. Don't do anything until I've gotten to the bottom of...
Yes, got it.
That scared Paimon half to death. Cyno is pretty terrifying. He didn't try to reassure us at all. It's like he's used to hearing that. Oh, Paimon bet's luck.
I heard that.
Sorry.
It's part of being a Matra. The rumor we heard just now seems like a strong lead. But we need to check a few more places. Very well. Where's your grandpa's house?
Well, I can take you there.
C'est joli ça, j'ai jamais vu.
Grandpa? Oh, he likes to be alone. Sometimes he stares at the sky in a daze, and other times he just pokes at the ground with his fingers. Every now and then, he yells out at the top of his lungs, so a lot of people are really scared of him. But he's a good person, really. I know he is. I swear, he's just like my real grandpa.
Il habitait loin du village. Il avait juste une tente.
Oh, this is where there sure isn't much here.
No.
Incense? But are you okay? Are you getting...
There's a scent that you can sense, but I can't.
A certain traveler here once passed out from that smell. Thankfully, Tighnari saved the day!
So, you know
Huh? You know him too?
Yes. Now that I concentrate, I can also...
Wait, surely Tighnari didn't lecture you too?
No. No need. Did you first encounter this scent at Tighnari's house? In the forest. From a scholar.
Quit following me.
Il fait.
What are you looking for, Cyno?
Here it is. Take a look right here. Although the traces have been completely buried in the sand, from the size and shape, they belong to an adult male. This pattern is a common one from this area. The scent is quite faint, but still extant.
But who would come looking for Grandpa? He doesn't have any friends.
We'd have to ask whoever lured him away with the incense.
Huh? So you can lure someone away with just a scent? Hey! What's wrong with liking good food? Everyone's got...
Exactly. Most scholars are fond of incense, since the smell supposedly, even deep within the clutches of madness, they still yearn for their knowledge-seeking days, and will follow this.
No. So, someone's taking advantage of their weakness? Huh. Are the rumors really true? Could the disappearance of all the mad scholars...
It's highly likely.
Please, you have to save my grandpa.
Sounds like we'd better help get him back. Don't you worry, Isak.
Let's head to Aru village and inform Candace and the others about what we learned here.
Squall and Fury. Huh.
Ah, elle est sur la maison, sur la maison du chef de village d'Androculus.
Right. The darker fabric definitely looks a lot better.
We're back, Candace! We've got a lot to tell you.
Ah, welcome back.
Sounds like everyone's friends already.
Oh, Dehya's here.
You bet. So,
Reasonably.
Alhaitham didn't go with you.
We haven't seen him.
Huh. I saw him around the village entrance earlier and figured he was investigating with you.
Did you find out anything? I see. So someone used a kind of...
The resurrection of King Deshret? First I've heard of it. Far as I know, the kind of incense you just mentioned is only popular beyond the wall. Scholars are fond of it, but as you can see, not to mention making incense is a labor-intensive it seems someone from beyond the wall must have been
Makes sense.
So what should we do then?
If it was any other day, that would be your next logical step. But today, didn't you say that the villager got his news from the tavern? Well, I also like to drink at the tavern, so I know a thing or two about these radical...
If Paimon remembers correct...
Ah, yeah. Delavar, the scar-riddled bandit, Enger, the wide-eyed... These guys have one thing in common, and that's being broke. The rougher life gets, the more they want to believe in King Deshret. Way they see it, King Deshret's resurrection is their only chance. Throwing all of Sumeru into chaos is the only way to change the way of life here in the desert. Anyway, that's my...
Dehya! You're amazing! Do you really know
No merc can afford to slack off on gathering intelligence. Every mora I've spent in the tavern has been a valuable investment.
Let's head out.
Now hold on, you're staying right here, Cyno.
Why?
Aru village is not a big place. Outsiders stand out here like a sore thumb. I'd bet word about you has already gotten... The desert is unforgiving, so the way of life here is also a lot tougher than on the outside of the wall. Compared to you, mercs like me are just third-rate amateurs. I've got no actual... I need to go around and ask some questions, but it'll be difficult if you're with me. Good, then we've got a plan. The Traveler and Paimon will go to Caravan Rebot with me, and we'll try our best to figure out where the Mad Scholars...
All right, sounds like a plan.
Elle l'a vu. Ouais, c'est loin. Ah, c'est la caravane là-bas.
Well, here we are again.
Sounds like you're starting to get familiar with the area.
Paimon's amazed every time we see the wall of Samiel. How can a wall be...
I know what you mean. I had the same question every time I walked this way when I was a kid. Also, why is this high wall here? And can a wall really block sandstorm? It was only after I grew up that I realized. The wall of Samiel isn't just there. Sumeru is run by wise and mighty sages. To them, us desert dwellers are nothing but tools that can be... We're cheap labor, like livestock, but easier to control. Nothing more. Even if a child from the desert got the chance to obtain an Akasha terminal, almost all their requests for knowledge would be denied. The academia believes we're under... Geniuses like Sataria are 1 in a million. The other children never get a single chance to try and rewrite their fate.
That's terrible.
I would tear down this wall with my own hands if I could.
Hey, Dehya,
No, not at all. This place. Besides, we're here to procure information, aren't we?
Yep, we gotta catch those.
Ouais, elle est pas avec une épée à deux mains.
Caravan is crawling with people, so be careful what you say. Our mission started the moment we arrived. Let's go check out the tavern. Maybe we'll find. Just our luck. None of them are here.
You mean you don't?
Dehya, is that you? What a coincidence.
Zaki. Finally.
Oh, and who do you have with you here? Guests from another land? Hello, hello. I'm Zaki. Dehya's...
We've had drinks together a few times. You could say we... Anyway, as far as my friends here, they aren't too shabby, are they? You rarely see any Outlanders so friendly and respectful nowadays.
Absolutely. Much better than those people on the other side of the wall. So...
Yeah. Have you seen Engur, Delavar, or Jabari recently?
Of course I have. Matter of fact, we were all here drinking together.
I've got a spice trading deal from another nation.
Ah, how thoughtful of you. Then I assume you also know that Delavar's been having a hard time making it.
Hey, keep it down. Let's just say I prefer to keep this deal a secret. Y'all at Caravan Rebot are like family. If there's more to be made, why not do it together? Besides, Delavar and his friends have
Yes, how considerate of you. Delavar's my friend too, so...
Quit following me.
On peut pas sauter là-dessus. Putain, c'est chaud. Descends.
Too slow. Behold.
Are we there yet?
Yep,
This place is practically deserted. What are they doing in a place like this?
Why don't you take a guess? Go on.
An ambush.
What's this all about, Zaki?
Come on, Dehya. You really think we didn't hear about what you said back in Aru village? The boys have kept a close eye on you from the moment you set foot there. Not only do I know that you're looking for Delavar, I also know that you've teamed up with people from the academia.
So, you've been watching us from the very beginning?
Uh-oh.
And you left the strongest one in the village, didn't ya?
So you and Delavar have been partners?
Dehya, I guess it's only natural for a traveling mercenary like you to be out of the loop, but you got one thing right. We're all looking...
If that's the case, then I'm sure Delavar...
I'll be honest with you. If it weren't for what you said in the village, your little monologue about the Wall of Samiel would have convinced me that you're one of us.
Delavar. And Engur, you're here too, huh?
Long time no see, Miss Mercenary. You should have known the traitors are what us followers of King Deshret despise.
Dehya, I thought that you, a fellow desert dweller, would understand why King Deshret is greater than the Dendro Archon.
Yeah, gee, what a missed opportunity. Adopting radical views and kidnapping innocent scholars, all because of...
See? There you have it. Mercenaries are just a bunch of faithless scum with only...
You're not wrong. Mercenaries are driven by Mora, and my faith lies with whoever's paying me. As long as there's a profit to be made, anyone can become my friend.
Enough talking! Get him!
Just as I expected. Let's teach him a lesson, traveler.
Following order.
Cry louder.
Nice and spicy. Hey, yeah! Cole, learn to command.
The wind rises.
Facile.
Impossible. So, what do you think about your meticulous network now, Zaki? How did you say it? It's only natural for a traveling. I'm guessing your informant told you that I'm just an incompetent merc with no real fighting skills, correct? I mean, that is what I. And of course, you would believe everything he reported. The only thing you know about me is that I'm a mercenary, but you've never seen me in action. Even though you heard we went to handle monsters together, you believed that Candace was the only one doing all the real fighting. That so-called Flame Mane is just a fraud. She admitted it herself. She just uses her connections to gain the trust of others. That's what you thought, right?
You lied in the village because you figured that we'd have people watching you.
And you were stupid enough to fall for it. I figured as much the first time we drank together. You all thought you were so... Okay, that should be all of them.
Whoa! So you've been planning this since we were in Aru Village?
No task can be done without preparation. I just happened to notice a couple suspicious-looking people while you were out investigating.
Oh, but instead of catch...
Those two who were snooping around were just a couple small fries. If we want to get the real catch, we have...
Oh! You mean the funny name she mentioned back in...
That's just a bunch of drunk talk. Engar and Delavar like to talk themselves up when they're drinking. Engar, the wide-eyed butcher, and Delavar, the scar-riddled bandit, are the nicknames they came up with for themselves. Alcohol has a way of making people share what they really think. So Engar and Delavar...
What about Zaki?
He's just a numbskull who fell right into our trap. Zaki was probably the best hidden of them all. My initial plan was to find Delavar first, and then try to track him down. That's what you wanted to ask when we were at Uncle Anpu's house, right? Jabari is one of the villagers you talked to. You know, the one who wanted to treat Aesop.
Wait, so...
No, he isn't. I just needed to tack on a random villager name to make the eavesdropper think that I was making some wild guesses based on my...
Wow! What a...
Ah, you're too kind.
So, that thing...
About
how mercenaries only care about Laura. And that any...
Does that bother you? What makes you so sure?
Dehya, do you dislike the Dendro Archon like the other desert?
You two are pretty sharp. No, I don't have anything against the Dendro Archon. I've heard a lot of nice things about the Lesser Lord from Dunyarzad. I can understand her devotion and gratitude. Dunyarzad's just an ordinary person. There's no way a god would be so involved in the lives of everyday people unless they were truly compassionate.
I've begun to realize that the sages are behind everything that's happened recently. The radicals' blind belief...
But I see through it all.
Dehya.
Anyway, looks like we're done with business here. Traveler, lend me a hand.
Ok. On en ramène chacun, Paimon aussi.
This should be all of them. I'll let you...
All right. I'll be in touch.
Candace, do you need any...
Candace will be okay on her own. She's been guarding Aru Village for quite some time now. If anyone is qualified to question the offender...
While I'm questioning them, why don't you pass some time by...
I'll meet you back here tomorrow morning, Traveler. As for these idiots, let's just hope they live to see another day.
Oh, faut que j'attende une journée entière.
Right on time. We'll know any.
Paimon's been wondering. You seem to know Candace pretty well. Have you been?
We've known each other for some time now. She's a pretty interesting person. Even though she's an extremely strong warrior, she never misuses her powers against.
Oh, Paimon knows what you mean. Like a lot of martial artists say, never take the fight outside the ring.
Yep, I guess you can put it that way. It takes strong convictions to be as dedicated as she. Us mercs, on the other hand, we pretty much live from one day.
Well, Paimon thinks you're great too.
Really?
Oh, Cyno's here, and he's pretty early too.
Yes, I was here yesterday to help out a little.
To help out? By doing what?
Sharing some interrogation techniques.
Oh, you mean you taught Candace some...
Right.
Come on in, everyone.
Come on, let's go inside.
Ok. Voyons du coup. Ouais, vous auriez pu me faire rentrer. Elle les a tués?
Candace, where... Whoa, you look furious.
Do I?
Huh. Oh, there's no mask that can hide true bloodlust. Cover up your eyes, and it'll still show itself at the corner.
Perhaps I need to work on my composure. Still, it's perfectly understandable why I'm angry.
Yes. Please, don't beat us anymore.
Well, looks like Cyno taught her well.
You fear death yourselves, yet you do not hesitate to place the lives of others at the ones you call mad scholars are known to us as the village keepers. They are vital members of our community, and some even count them as family. You come here to my village, and
you've made your bed.
We may both be desert dwellers, but there's one thing that I understand better than you. The resurrection of King Deshret will only... The people of Aru village care little about which god is in power. A war would only cause us to lose all that...
We understand. I'll tell you everything I know, please.
I'm listening.
You might not believe this, but it wasn't us who came up with this idea. Someone was spreading rumors in the tavern. That's how we ended up hearing about King Deshret's resurrection. Some mystery man told us that mad scholars will make the perfect sacrifice.
They're called village keepers. Slip up again, and you'll regret it.
Yes, sorry. It was all that mystery man's doing. He told us to spread the word about King Deshret's resurrection and talked us into helping him. In return, he said he'll...
That's one.
Huh?
Strike. You get a total of 3. Then, you die by my hand.
Wait, I'm telling the truth. We don't know anything. He got us to lure them out of their houses in the night with some kind of incense. We take them to a junction outside the village. Then the mystery guy takes them from there. You gotta believe me, please.
That was indeed the truth. Traveler, go on.
You have to believe me. If I knew that, I would have told you his name right away. I'm not risking another beating to keep his secrets. No way. That guy, he wears a cloak, and he's always careful to cover his face.
I believe I may know what's going on.
Uncle Anpu.
Smooth.
Okay, speak.
If my suspicions are correct, this mystery man... Some time ago,
Mais il a beau encore, non mais c'est pas vrai.
Academia attempted to take the village keepers away. I refused, insisting that they are part of our community.
Mais y a rien.
It strikes me now that this secretive character shares the same goal they had.
Which means it's highly likely that the Academia was purposely spreading a false rumor to trick the radical. They were the ones who brought them here to begin with. Now they're trying to take them.
Not the Academia again.
Just as I thought. But what could they want with the village keepers?
C'est vrai qu'elle nous avait dit que c'était une fausse rumeur de l'académie, tout ça. J'ai du mal à bien placer mon micro. Je suis toujours en train d'y toucher.
People are nothing but tools in the eyes of the Academia. A change in their plans likely. Regardless, our top priority now is locating the.
You're right. Isaka's still waiting for
time to go. Let's leave the village and
Yes.
You got it. Candace, I'll let you deal with the radicals. Leave everything outside the village to us.
All right.
Let's meet back here one.
Et du coup, Alhaitham, il fait quoi? Il est où? On l'attend ou on le cherche? Enfin, qu'est-ce qu'il fait? On sape tout le boulot pendant qu'il fait rien? C'est facile ça. Tom, il est déjà sur place, il a déjà réglé le problème aussi. Ah, bah tiens, quand on parle de loup.
Well, as you can see, I am merely sitting.
You were gone for ages, and now you're suddenly sitting here musing to yourself? Hey, what's with the silence?
You never think things through before asking questions. I'm giving you some time to make up.
Paimon's so mad! Paimon's gonna give you an ugly nickname! There's just nothing super obvious to pick with this guy. Makes it...
Well, you've heard nothing to suggest I left this whole time. So clearly, I stayed in the village to investigate. Anyway, you plan to leave Aru village and keep searching for the truth of this matter, yes?
Yep. We're not gonna find out anything more by staying here, so we thought... Enough with the silent treatment!
No. I'm just surprised that you decided to team up with him.
Alhaitham, you haven't helped us out at all ever since we arrived at Aru village. Bold of you to question our choices.
Yeah, you're all talk!
While you were investigating, I had my own work to do.
Really?
To be honest, we aren't really a team, so I have no obligation to inform you of my whereabouts. Not to mention that going separate ways allowed me to find some important information that...
Huh? Right here?
Correct.
What did you learn?
I'm going to take you to someone. But, before that, you need to understand where...
What is that?
How do you think the residents of Aru village feel about what we're doing? In other words, do you truly believe every single word the villagers tell us?
You mean some of them lied to us?
Hiding the truth does not necessarily equate to lying. Again, these people... Remember what Candace said? Most people in Aru village don't necessarily care which deity is in charge of Sumeru. By contrast, the perils of their daily lives are ever-present concerns. They won't simply share every... Glad you're following along. Among those you have talked to, there's someone who was consciously keeping you out of the loop. In fact, she's been the reason being...
Those eyes. Those fierce eyes. You...
Don't change the subject.
It's quite obvious that she's intimidated by Cyno's authority and strength.
Right. You were asking about the I mean...
She corrected herself mid-sentence because she's aware that there are King Deshret fanatics in the village. If she sounds too friendly towards the village keepers...
I think it's been a few days since I last saw them.
Remember? She made a point of denying her involvement in anything that occurs at night.
But honestly, I feel quite sympathetic towards them. Even though they act a little strange, they've helped me in the past.
After speaking to the village chief, it became clear that the village keepers had protected Aru village at night. In other words, the young miss was very much aware.
Then why would she...
By getting involved with an outsider, She risks drawing unwanted attention to herself.
I'll pass on this one. You said that she is afraid of me. If so, it's best if I stay out of this.
Ok, du coup on y va sans lui, forcément. Toc toc. Bah, c'est pas comme ça qu'on frappe à la porte.
Miss Shawnee, as we discussed earlier...
Mr. Alhaitham, I'm aware of where you stand, but...
Huh? What do you mean?
Go ahead and talk to her. You'll get the answers you go on.
Is it really that simple?
May I call you Traveler? Hi, Traveler. I want to ask you something. Do you think the resurrection of King Deshret can truly change Sumeru for the better? Why's that? That's very similar to what Miss Candace says. I know you two are friends. That's why I'm willing to talk to you, even though I do have some... Before, I wouldn't even have the courage to ask something like this. Traveler, do you believe our lives will get better?
Yeah! We came here from another nation, so it isn't wrong of you to be weary. And we aren't really resident, but even so, we've met lots of people from different places. We have friends in Sumeru, and we want to help them. That's why we decided to stay.
I want to trust you. My apologies for posing my questions like that. To be honest, I didn't expect you to come back for more information.
Alhaitham told us you have your reasons. It's okay. We understand.
The fact is that only one side of my family is desert folk. I don't really fit in anywhere in Sumeru. Some believe in the Dendro Archon, while others believe in King Deshret. I don't belong to either side, and neither side would want me.
Speaking of which, the radicals mentioned that they despise traitors. Do they just think that...
Yeah. Some people can be so narrow-minded when it comes to bloodline and beliefs. It makes no difference. Slowly, I just stopped talking to people. I pretended not to hear or see anything. And then it happened. The village keepers who had helped me disappeared with no explanation, and I didn't dare breathe a word about it to anyone.
You can tell them. I'm sure he'll keep your secret.
All right. I actually have a sharper sense of hearing than most. Sometimes, I hear strange crying sounds in the night. Perhaps. I'm not sure. It's faint, but it's definitely the sound of crying. It comes from far away in the distance. It used to be louder and more frequent. But ever since you arrived in the village, it doesn't seem to happen as often. And when it does, it's much quieter. I have to focus really.
I confirmed this with the guards on night duty. They also have someone with a good ear, and he's heard similar sounds at night. But, because we're in the middle of a desert, he would rather believe that they are the cries of beasts than ghosts.
There's really nothing around these parts, except for an...
I think they used to use it for treating Elazar, but it's been abandoned for years.
Yeah, let's go.
Il est prêt à les hasards. Est-ce que j'ai un TP à côté? Je peux prendre celui-là. Yao Yao, là, il a ce Dendro et ça demande que des trucs de l'IU pour up. Des trucs de l'IU et... c'est les ennemis. Ah, j'ai pris l'aggro 2.
empty and forgotten. An ideal place to hide people.
Monsters! Watch out!
Merde, deux. Oh non, pas toi.
Not now.
Just behold! How amusing. You dare to gaze upon me?
Let's dance. Come on, we can do it. Hi. Huh. Stars, shine for me.
Squall fury.
They were easier to deal with than Paimon. Super strong bandits? Or monsters taller than buildings dropping out of the sky? He looks super serious. We gotta stay on our A game too.
This is the one. Let's go in and...
Oh.
Hey, Alhaitham.
Patience. Shawnee says she only hears the crying at night. We have time to burn. Until then, I'm taking a break.
And just like that, what are you reading? Let Paimon.
Okay, sure.
Huh? The natural position, which is the positional propensity.
So, you got that?
Oh, Paimon gives up. You keep reading your book. See ya.
See ya.
How is he so relaxed? Look at him, reading an impossible book in a creepy place like this. Hey, Paimon's your Tibet travel guide. And anyway, it's not Paimon's fault that the books people read in Sumeru... Paimon's getting so sleepy. Huh? What was that sound?
There it is. It's coming from that direction.
Is the sound coming from here? Huh. Paimon's not seeing anything.
It's from below.
But there's no way we can get there.
Something is off about the interior here. As I thought.
Wow. It's like they tucked it. Oh, it looks like there are other...
Mais laissez-moi jouer. Oh, mais j'ai pas de perso Dendro. Je vais mettre le voyageur parce que Collet est niveau 20. Ah ouais. Je le déterre peut-être. Ah ouais.
Propagate! The wind rises. Behold! Propagate! Squall and fury!
En vrai, faudrait que je le up mon voyageur. Il peut être pas mal en vrai.
Look, there's the good idea. Let's approach.
Wait. You're...
He can't speak, and his eyes are unfocused. But also, why?
Didn't expect to see him here.
You know him?
He's Razak, a senior of mine at the Academia.
He's a scholar too? Is he the kind that holds up in a forest?
No. And that's the problem. Razak was never involved in any of those things. He never trained in the forest, let alone reach Satyavada life. Leaving that question aside for the moment, him being here alone looks like they've already taken everyone away. For whatever reason, they left Razak here. Perhaps they simply didn't have time to come back. There are drag marks on the ground. They're clearer by the doorway. Someone was forcefully drawing a car.
Loaded with...
That is one possibility. It looks like they were in a hurry, as if they were afraid of being caught. The symptoms are identical. Looks like we found living proof.
Huh? What?
Allow me to jog your memory. Don't you think his symptoms look familiar?
Oh, now that you mention it, they're...
Correct. The Academia's, but it isn't difficult to deduce their rationale.
First, the Academia spread a false rumor of King Deshret's resurrection,
emphasizing the role of the village keepers, the mad scholars who were exiled to Aru village. These rumors were all the persuasion that the radicals needed, and those based in Aru village, as well as being able to exploit the radicals for their life for the desert dwellers. Many would give everything they,
even if complications arise.
The notion of an Academia plot wouldn't...
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. But there's still one very important question. Wasn't it the Academia that brought the scholars to Aru village in the...
Throughout this process, one thing has changed. First, they were scholars. Then, they became lunatics. After that, they were exiles. And an exile is still patently a living, breathing human being. But when someone if you can't find someone, you have no...
resource?
One possibility is that the information in their brains could be extracted into knowledge capsules.
Extracted? You mean...
With the technology of the Sumeru Academia, perhaps the process caused them great suffering.
So, the human brain... Nope, nah.
I'm the Academia scribe, after all. I'm familiar with... Anyway, judging by Razak's state, the contents of a divine knowledge capsule were extracted from his mind. But something went wrong in the or perhaps his curiosity got the better of him, and he used such a capsule for himself.
Paimon's a little confused. Can they just use anyone's brain?
The look on your face tells me you've realized the answer. That's right. To some scholars, gaining knowledge about the gods is their However, I can't help but wonder. The academia is going out of their way to... I've spent quite some time trying to analyze the
You mean you're not even slightly interested in...
All scholars seek to expand the horizons of knowledge, extracting information from people as if they were lifeless objects.
Sounds like you're really against them.
Of course. The whether it be academics or knowledge, everything... This matter needs to be corrected. Just like fixing a typo in...
Wait! Didn't you step in to help because you felt...
Not to be callous, but no. There is no shortage of suffering in Sumeru, and the same can be said for the rest of Teyvat as well.
Probably not.
You can say that. Simply put, I don't blindly place the divine knowledge capsule as something I want to investigate in full. That does...
Paimon's been wanting to say this for a while. There are a lot of bad guys in the academia, but you're not...
Though I must say, I quite enjoy this feeling of uniqueness is also an asset, is it not?
Wow, that's a great way to think about it. Paimon...
I'm just a more likable person than her in general. There's nothing more to it. He won't last long if we leave him here. We'll work out our next step after we return to our...
J'aime bien l'attaque Dendro, je sais pas pourquoi. Oh, les bêtes explosives. On rentre au village. Et ils se sont pas fait chier sur le nom de la quête. Pleure dans l'hôpital traitant l'aîné hasard.
You must be tired. You should rest.
What's the situation?
Unfortunately, somebody who's too young to take on the role of Isak's grandfather. Nevertheless, he's one of the...
So, at one point in time, the abandoned Elazar hospital served as the academy.
Yep, pretty much.
Their plan must have been implemented at some point before we arrived at Aru village. Since Divine can't yet. They fled once we were headed to the village. Almost as if they knew.
We may have a mole in our midst. One of us could be secretly revealing our whereabouts to the academia.
Huh? Are our friendships that shallow?
Looks like none of you have realized wherein lies the issue. Cyno, you're the reason why they can predict...
Wait, what's that supposed to mean?
Choose your next words very carefully.
It is simply a logical inference. I have my...
So what you're saying is... interesting. And here I thought you were the most suspicious one, Alhaitham. Since you...
I know. You have a point. But I realized something as we were returning from the hospital. Cyno isn't like any of us.
What are you trying to say?
Do you still remember who you are, General Mahamat? As a Matra, you are no doubt privy to certain kinds of information. Before you can take action against someone, simply put, the academia has traditionally allowed you access to a wealth of sensitive information. Knowing if you want to raise a vicious wolf, you need to make sure that you can avoid its bite.
The academia is...
It's not that simple. The academia has eyes all over Sumeru, but they have a special protocol for dealing with you.
every so often comes a Nyagarbaha Day. On this day, the Academia enters new information into the Akasha through knowledge capsules. I remember seeing the thick notebook next to the control panel once. Its contents were all about the General Mahamatra, his activities throughout the day, preferred methods of enacting judgment.
You're saying that the Academia entered my information into the Akasha too? But what's the point in doing that? My actions aren't important enough to be added in.
The Akasha is capable of computation. The Akasha's algorithms are entirely capable of predicting your movements using the data entered. When you would depart, the route you would follow, your
It predicted my every move.
The Academia has been watching you longer than you think. However...
So that's how it is. Cyno adheres to his principles so strong. Tenacity of will and steadfast faith are worthless to the Academia. They need scholars who are easily pliable. Cyno, don't take it to heart. This just proves how much of a trustworthy ally you are.
They escaped because of me.
Don't blame yourself. It's not like any of us would have known.
I have an idea. If they predicted my movements, then I might be able to guess.
Whoa, you bounced back fast.
There is always an opportunity for safety after danger.
Oh, so that's how it is! If the Academia is trying to avoid Cyno, then the safest place would be... Yep, that's right.
They'll want to proceed in the direction opposite of where I'm going. I must go.
There's also something I want to investigate.
Let's go, guys! After...
Please, wait! I want to go too!
You want to go too?
I want to find Grandpa.
Everyone, I leave him in your hands.
Yay! What? Paimon feels like we're missing...
Dehya. Dehya. Rattraper Cyno, je dois encore courir après. C'est qui lui?
Behold! Too slow.
So, where do we go from here?
Yes. After leaving the village, we should head straight toward the desert.
I know the desert like the back of my hand.
Is that because you play here a lot?
Yep. One time, Grandpa almost got lost in the desert, but I was the one who brought him back.
There's something here. What's this?
It's buried in the sand.
And Paimon thought running around everywhere was already enough work. Okay. So
These are likely fragments of an Academia-developed device, something akin to a headset. Looks like there were more than one village keeper. They must have been escorted this way, because there are device fragments scattered around. Let's split up and search the area.
is this what we're searching?
This is definitely a device used to extract divine knowledge.
How did it end up buried in the sand? They must have been attacked along the way.
Wait, what?
Grandpa, I hope you're okay.
Don't worry, your grandpa's gonna be fine.
Razak didn't display any signs of starvation or dehydration.
We should be able to catch...
One more thing. I believe the attack must have happened prior to the sandstorm.
Let's keep going. They can't have gone far.
Cette tempête de sable qui les a fait les perdre.
But running on sand is so
You're flying, aren't you, Paimon? Is flying over sand tiring too?
Ugh, of course it is!
Voices, over there. It sounds like an argument.
Je peux pas bouger.
Whoa, you have really good ears.
Don't get any closer. They'll notice us.
Dehya's talking with the Eremites? Very interesting. Let's listen.
If you had informed me sooner, there'd be plenty of room for us to...
You're one of us. We would never lie.
Scholars. You don't know as much as I do. Need me to...
I knew it.
Dehya? Why would you?
Dehya! Hey, what are you doing?
Huh? Didn't you say you'd help me find Grandpa? What?
Well, look at...
This complicates the...
You've betrayed our village.
So, this is the Dehya, you'd be better off as my assistant than hanging around with this motley crew. Seen for yourself. I have the means and methods, and my ideals are far more admirable.
I'm not the type that's easily swayed, Raman. You of all people should know that.
Wait, what's going on, Dehya? Whose side are you on here?
Shut it, Paimon.
It doesn't matter. Whichever side you pick, nothing can deter us from the grand mission of resurrecting King Deshret. Once our Lord of all...
Face the facts, Raman. It's not gonna happen. You should understand that more than anyone. Have all your years as a merc taught you nothing about placing hopes in a ruler?
I'm a desert dweller and a proud follower of King Deshret. Whether I live by the edge of the sword or in peaceful comfort...
It's not too late yet. The village mad scholars aren't gonna bring King Deshret back to life.
You don't understand, my dear lady. Pursuing our faith is our purpose in...
Even if it'll expose you to the academia? Even if they end up disbanding the Eremites?
Yes. We've waited a long time for this day to come. The sun and the moon no longer shine here. With these scholars in our custody, we'll stomp the academia.
Ridiculous. Think about it. The academia controls the entirety of Sumer. If you still don't believe me, then try asking these two men. They're also against the academia.
They look more like pawns of the academia. Filthy traitors. Your god abandoned all...
It's impossible to... Perhaps we should.
Do you really believe that by kidnapping the scholars, you'll be able to negotiate with the academia? These people have no value as bargaining chips, but I could be persuaded to take their place as your next hostage. These scholars were exiled from the academia. I, on the other hand, am their current scribe, and will...
Wait, you can't be serious.
So, you want to trade places with...
Precisely. Any wise person would gladly accept...
What are you thinking? What if they decide to kill you instead?
Well, that would be bad luck for me. However, I'd get the chance to observe the scholars. Perhaps...
Think you can talk me over with that confident look of yours?
I'm not trying to persuade you. I'm using this as a means of joining forces against the academia.
You are the scribe. What do you have against the academia?
Not all desert dwellers believe in King Deshret, and the same applies to the academia. Why must all knowledge seekers approve of the academia's way of doing things?
You academia scum. Every last one of you is nothing but a hypocrite, just like...
Not so fast. Alhaitham, do you stand by everything you just said?
I never make empty promises.
You know you're making a dangerous decision, right?
I do.
Good. Raman, hear me out. These people are my friends. Maybe you can't take the followers of the Dendro Archon at their word, but what about me?
We've known each other for years.
In that case, I'm willing to vouch for their honesty with my right arm. Come on, Raman, don't be a coward. If you're serious about taking on the academia, you need to steel yourself. You can't...
An arm from the flame mane. But what if you refuse to oblige? What should I do then? No one's a fool here, Dehya. We're mercs. The mercs don't tend to—
You're not wrong, but this is different. I promised my friends that we'd bring back the village keepers together.
Let's do it right here then. Give me your right arm as proof of your resolve.
Don't listen to him! He's not even trying to negotiate!
That's fine.
Are you crazy?
We came here to save lives. One arm for that many people is still a pretty good deal, if you ask me. Ramon?
Sure. Go ahead and cut off her right arm.
No! Dehya! What are you gonna do? Think of something!
You don't have to go this far.
That's not for you to decide.
Do it!
Dehya! Run!
Stop!
What's wrong?
Flame Mane, you and I are both desert folk. Cutting off your arm is no different than cutting off my own fingers. Where's the... You've shown me that you're serious. Go on now, take your friends and...
Le grand. C'est une malade.
Phew. I was really counting on him not going through with it.
Dehya! That was crazy! Have you all lost your minds? What if he...
Then I just have to hold my claymore with my left arm. Okay, I'm sorry, but sometimes...
Don't ever make a promise like that again. I can deal with the likes of them. If it came down to it, you would not lose to them either.
I don't doubt it, Cyno, but this is about more than me and them. There's a lot more where they came from. Even if we got rid of one bunch of radicals, there are others out there.
I'm sorry, Dehya. I should have stayed put and listened.
It's okay. I promised you I'd help find your grandpa.
Whatever it takes? You just might be scholar material.
Huh? Are you serious?
The Eremites once said that I was a lunatic. Perhaps a little madness is essential to be successful in research.
Why does it feel like he's using his praise for me as an excuse to brag about himself? Okay, let's get moving.
Oh mais il a beau encore. Non mais c'est un truc de fou. Ok. Ah oui, je devais attendre. Cyno, Isaac, Candace. Oui, encore une Paimon. Pourquoi il y a encore 2 Paimon?
You're all here so early.
Looks like we have everyone here.
I'll watch from a safe distance.
Okay.
Dehya, wait,
What's the matter?
I heard that you were quite reckless yesterday. No more of that today.
Fine.
Scatter!
Ah. Et les quêtes chiantes qu'on a fait. Oh, c'est une autre quête. Là-bas.
Quit following me.
De toute façon, c'est dans la pyramide, je sais pas. Bon, je crois pas.
Squall and Fury. Surge forth. The wind rises. Squall and Fury. Quit following me. Behold.
Ouais, c'est bien derrière la pyramide en tout cas.
They got here before.
Uh-oh. Is it because Paimon overslept by 5 minutes and held everyone up?
Is everything ready?
Absolutely. You brought fewer people than I imagined.
Bring him over.
Grandpa! Why is there only...
Rahman, I've always thought of you as a man of his word.
It's a one-for-one exchange. Sounds fair, don't you think? And let me put it this way. Agreeing to any kind of deal with the Dendro Archon's people is already a huge compromise on my part.
You stay right there!
Oh. Cinématique.
right here?
You coward! Why are your hands shaking?
Wait a second! It's a earthquake!
Hmm. What the fuck?
Paimon.
This day's going just...
The sand dune collapsed. I saw an energy field. The village keeper protected us. It glowed green with Dendro. Just like you said, it may well have been the remains of Lesser Lord Kusanali's... The Dendro Archon.
Grandpa?
Hey, look around you.
There used to be a...
It seems that when the sand dune collapsed, it exposed these underground structures. The symbols on the gate belong to King Deshret's civilization. It could have been an underground palace in the...
Oh, a miracle. Praise King!
What's he doing here? And his men too?
They must have fallen down here with us. Most of them seem in really bad shape, except for...
Mind your head.
No, this isn't the time for conflict. Our exalted lord has shown us...
As it happens, I want to take a look inside too.
What are you doing?
Don't you think it's curious? 1 minute, Lesser Lord Kusanali's power protects us from harm, and 2 major deities are vying to showcase their power to us. It would be a shame not to witness them both.
Paimon thought you weren't interested in guides.
Indeed. In my view, gods are just a higher form of living being, or creature, you could say. New discoveries are always worth investigating, whether they have anything to do with God.
Raman, what are you gonna do about your men?
I'll just let them lay here. King Deshret will take care...
Lara Croft. J'ai pas électro, j'ai pas Cryo. Si, Cryo j'ai. Parce que j'ai lu.
Can't sleep.
J'ai pas électro, j'espère qu'il n'y a pas de stèle. C'est tout.
It's full of life here. This defies comprehension.
Yeah, and there's so many plants. It's so pretty.
Sir Raman.
Huh?
Do you see another Ram?
Are you mocking me? What do you...
Interpret it however you want. But there's something I'd like to draw your attention to. While this structure is clearly left over...
Whatever you say. It's not like I have a vision.
There's nothing to be angry about. Think of this as an academic journey.
It does seem kind of strange. If that's true, then we might have to explore this whole area to find an...
Oh. Qu'est-ce que c'est marqué? Il faut regarder la salle comme un mortel, écouter les conseils.
following me.
Je sais pas ce que j'ai fait.
The wind rises. Ha! Yeah! Ah! Ha! Yeah! Ah! Yeah! Ha! Yeah!
Que des pommes. J'aimerais bien essayer Alhaitham, s'il vous plaît. Sinon, j'ai déjà essayé.
Nice and spicy. The night is cold.
Wretched vermin! Squall and fury! Ha! Ah! Yeah! Ha! Yeah! Ah! Yeah! Ha! Ah! Ha! Too slow.
Oh non, les bâtards.
Quit following me. Too slow. The wind rises. Yeah! Ha! Ah! Ha! Yeah! Ah!
Je sais pas ce que j'ai fait. Faut que j'active ça. C'est pas possible.
Too slow.
J'ai pas réussi. Mais c'est pas possible. Comment t'es censé faire?
Quit following me. Squall and fury. Upon the gale. Search for it.
Faut que je prenne un peu de hauteur de base. Mais là, j'arrive pas à l'activer de cette hauteur-là.
Behold.
Comment qu'on fait? Si je t'avais... C'est tout? D'accord.
Squall and fury. Ha! Yeah! Ha! Yeah! Ha! Ah! Yeah! You're dead. Unsightly insects.
Out of the frying pan? Not now. Let the show be.
The wind rises. Ha! Yeah! Too slow. Quit following me.
Après 6 jours à infiltrer le temps, je comprends. L'ascenseur descendra jusqu'au sol. Hein? Oh, oui.
Too slow.
Behold! Ha! Ah! How amusing! Huh. Ah! Ah!
You're toast! Boba, get...
The wind rises.
Ah! 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 Ah!
Alors. Vous pouvez pas descendre. Ah, bah apparemment fallait pas descendre.
That's a sight to see. King Deshret's splendor surrounds us.
There's so much vegetation here. It's different than what I expected.
Sure are a lot of plants for a desert.
That's what I call divine providence of King Deshret.
It's getting brighter. Oh, it looks so beautiful.
Je peux pas sprinter, je peux pas taper, j'ai pas mes compétences.
Wait. What's that?
A load of flowers. And it looks like there's something among them.
These are...
They left something behind.
What does it say?
Here lies our faithful priest Kasala. His wisdom is a miracle among the people, deserving of...
You can read ancient king...
Of course. Every student needs to master at least 20 languages before they graduate.
He's not serious, right?
There's still something off about this place. The elemental energy here is too concentrated. The scent of life.
Is this it?
Analyzing.
There seems to be a hidden message among these skeletal remains. Excellent. There's a device from King Deshret's civilization in this gravesite. I'll transmit the information over and...
Isn't sharing knowledge again?
Yes. However, under the... You'll understand after watching it.
Civilization is born of knowledge, but so too can knowledge be its demise. A disaster caught us unaware. It was knowledge that did not belong to this world. King Deshret brought this forbidden knowledge into our world, and it quickly spread like a plague. People's minds were filled with crazed whispers. Dark gray scales spread across their bodies. Even the land was stripped of its vigor. Only a desperate, deathly silence remained. Were it not for Greater Lord Rukkhadevata from the forests, the damage would have been irreversible. She summoned the priests to build temples and infused into them the divine power of life. The disaster was miraculously tempered, and the embers of our civilization were preserved in Aru village. Alas, the miracle could not last. As long as forbidden knowledge continued to exist, it would forever blight this world. In the end, the proud king of the desert, my eternal lord, chose to sacrifice himself. I have spent my whole life since guarding one of these many temples. But now, my duty is coming to an end. As I close my eyes for the final time, the sight of that noble deity will appear in my vision once more. In helping King Deshret to eradicate forbidden knowledge, she exhausted her strength, and her form became that of a small child. How strange. Now that I think of her, I no longer have any fear of death, for I sense that the spirit of life will abide with me during my eternal sleep. Children of the desert, cling no longer to past grievances, but hold tight to the memory of this act of benevolence.
What was that?
The priest's memories. No. Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. So the
but this doesn't make any...
Was that the former Dendro Archon? She became...
You might be distrustful of the Akasha, but there's no reason for you to doubt King Deshret's technology. You've just witnessed his priest's last words.
I've never heard about any of the surviving followers of King Deshret all gathered in Aru village. Our god did not make mistakes. We refuse to believe any of the rumors. King Deshret's death, the all but total annihilation of our civilization. It was... We saw her as nothing more than a traitor. Who stabbed us in the back in our moment of crisis.
You were blinded by your prejudice.
If I hadn't seen this for myself, how could I ever begin to accept this? The truth is so far from what I've always known. Am I really supposed to believe that after all these years, all this time...
Rahman, that's enough. Give it a rest. You're
My Aramites and I, what are we even fighting for?
Hey, how you doing?
I'll live. Thanks. I should probably go. Can't just...
What's your next move gonna be?
Oh, I know what you're going to ask. But please, give me some time.
It's not gonna be...
Well, I guess that's for me to deal with. Dehya, this is where our camp's located.
When would be a good time for us to...
Tomorrow. I'll convince everyone that we're all on the same side. And I'll return every last one of your your village keepers. We'll share our other resources with you, too.
You seem to finally understand that our true enemy...
Yes. The gods never gave up on anyone. It's the people responsible.
That must have been rough, but he seems to have figured...
Rahman's no fool. Being the leader of your own faction in the desert, it's too bad he was held back by his belief in King Deshret. But now that that's changed, I guess we have a few more people.
The outcome, at least, is favorable.
We should get going too. Let's head back, have a proper meal, and a night... we're leaving!
Stop yelling.
Bon, je vais finir cette quête là, puis on se laissera. Oh, mais j'ai pas de TP là-bas.
Squall and Fury.
J'ai pas su là-bas. Ok.
Rahman?
Everything's been arranged. Someone will bring the...
I guess all I can say now...
don't mention it. But we share a common cause now. From here on out...
Where are the perpetrators?
I'll bring you to them.
So these are the people who kidnapped the village keepers.
Oh no, it's the scribe!
There's no need to yell. No one can help you now.
We've been all over the desert trying to find you!
That's right.
General Mahamatra? No, no! Make it quick!
Whoa. The moment they set eyes on Cyno, they turned pale like they've seen a ghost!
You should have known that I would become...
Wait, we were just following orders. You know what I'm talking about, right? There's no way we could...
No, not Cyno. He's gonna tear us limb from limb.
I could do worse.
Please have mercy.
Start talking. Otherwise, I'll...
So, your superiors have kept you quite busy.
They, wanted to extract...
Don't play dumb. You know what they extract divine canned knowledge.
I really don't...
Well, you better start talking or you'll be stuck!
You don't want to make things any more difficult for yourself, do ya?
Be my guest.
Uh-huh? That sure didn't sound like a fancy metaphor.
How did you know?
There's no use hiding it now. Yes, you're right. The Academia is working on an important and potentially world-changing project. They are creating a new god. A god. It may seem as if Sumeru's academics are thriving, but ever since the death of Greater Lord Rukkhadevata, scholarly breakthroughs have been few and far between. The withering of Irmin's soul has been getting worse recently. The sages have tried everything they could think of, but nothing's worked. I'm always hearing them say things like,
Continue.
And then, someone from the Fatui showed up. They called him the Doctor. He brought a gnosis and said he wanted to borrow the Academia's research. The Doctor was previously expelled from the Academia. At first, the sages looked down at him in disdain.
Scarramucchia qui a le gnosis de la Shogun.
Changed. He asked them, do you wish to create a...
This is what the arrogant ignorance at the extreme end of that...
First, the Academia spent a long time constructing a divine vessel, which was based on an exquisite humanoid puppet. After that, They harvested dreams via the Zeb-Zerus Festival Samsara. With the doctor's help and the Akasha now functioning at maximum efficiency, they were able to use it to... Next, they decided that their new god needed to possess divine wisdom. For that to happen,
it adds up.
But how do you determine whether the knowledge extracted is of divine?
Call it an educated guess? The Academia has been trying to figure out the exact source of the scholar's madness for centuries, but to know nobody can explain the cause of this phenomenon. Surely you can see what that... If it's knowledge no mortal can comprehend, then it must be something only gods are able to decipher. In other words, it's the source of the...
You must have noticed by now. The Academia doesn't care about who their god is. It's the ability to exercise control over knowledge and wisdom that matters. It is as if they are cursed with a desire for omniscience and omnipotence that burns in their... Some organisms demonstrate phototaxis, and thus orient their entire lives in respect to sources of light. For this is but a form of phototaxis. For many scholars, the absence of a god of wisdom means stumbling in the darkness for the duration.
Then what does Lesser Lord Kusanali mean? Is she not a true god present in this world? If you already have a new god, why
From the beginning, the Academia has never treated her. When the Academia first discovered Lesser Lord Kusanali, the newborn god of wisdom, the sages hoped that she would be as wise. They found that at the time, she possessed no more intelligence than any ordinary human child. The sages never had a ruder awakening. Not to mention that Lesser Lord Kusanali's gnosis had been used to power the Akasha this entire time. By herself, she has... Slowly but surely, people began to forget about her.
So...
All right, let's try to keep our cool. If everyone's in a bad mood, Raman, give me a few men to help us escort the village keepers back to the village. And these two scholars, they're coming to...
Sure. As you...
Ils ont déjà le gnosis de la Rani, apparemment. Du coup. Peut-être qu'ils l'ont pris justement quand elle était enfant. Enfin, d'ailleurs, elle est toujours un peu enfant, quoi.
The village keepers you found have all been returned to their homes, and each one has a dedicated caregiver to look after them. The two new scholars are being kept under close supervision.
The atmosphere is... Hey! Say something! Stop spacing out!
Come on, is there nothing left to talk about?
Or I can go fetch some snacks.
Oh! Paimon's so coming with you!
Do you have any plans, traveler?
Gods above, you're not talking about work, are you?
So you were still withholding some information?
Even though we lived through all of this firsthand, it still feels super surreal to hear you talk about it again.
What a whirlwind of a story. Felt like I was holding my...
It seems like there will be more issues to face in the days ahead than I'd anticipated.
Still, now's a good time to make our next move. Now that Raman's joined us, we'll be an even stronger team.
It's time to make a plan.
Indeed. These events are a flagrant transgression of the rules in every sense.
So, everyone, are we on the...
Crush the sages and rescue our god. That is our ultimate goal.
Well, let's brainstorm a little more about what other resources we can draw on.
The next time we gather here, we must have a solid plan.
Yep, it'll work.
Et voilà. Et du coup, l'acte 5. L'acte 5, on le gardera pour la prochaine fois. Voilà, voilà. Du coup, on va se laisser. Ça a été un bon petit stream. On a bien avancé la quête principale. Malheureusement, Nahida a été emprisonnée. On a découvert Dottore, le deuxième exécuteur Fatui, Scarramucchia, qui prend la place de la divinité dans une espèce de machine bizarre. Et on voit qu'il apparemment qu'il pourrait utiliser l'élément électro. Son armure et tout, ça suggère l'élément électro. Est-ce que ça aurait pas un lien au New 6 électro que lui aurait donné Yaemiko pour nous sauver le dernier coup? C'est une possibilité. Pardon. Mais ils disent aussi avoir le New 6 de la Rani qui sert à... Donc l'Archon Dendro qui sert à utiliser l'Akasha. Du coup ça veut dire que sur le New 6 de Venti, enfin Barbatos, le souverain de la Roche, la Shogun et l'Archon Dendro. Ça fait déjà 5. Hein. Il en manque Pyro, Hydro et Cryo, mais Cryo c'est la divinité de Shnechnaya et c'est elle qui cherche à avoir tout ça. Bizarre qu'il cherche à recréer une divinité. Et c'est sûrement... Enfin, je sais pas. Il pense peut-être avoir le contrôle sur ces méros comme ça, mais du coup, c'est les Fatui qui l'ont, pas les chercheurs. Ils sont vraiment... Bon, ils sont un peu cons. Pour des chercheurs... Bref. On continuera ça la prochaine fois. La prochaine fois qui sera... Jeudi. Jeudi c'est bien. Jeudi matin. Jeudi matin, petit stream. On continue ça. On fera peut-être les dernières quêtes de Semeru. Je sais pas. Je pense après la 3.4. Je sais pas s'il y aura... Genre une... Bah. Oh, ça va rien dire. Il y aura peut-être une 3.6 ou un truc comme ça. Mais ça passera à 4. La version 4.0 par exemple. Quand ils ajouteront Fontaine, je pense. Avec des persos qui ont l'air aussi pas mal en vrai, Fontaine. J'ai eu pas mal de leaks de personnages. J'ai hâte de voir ce qu'ils font. En vrai, j'ai un peu hâte aussi de voir les quêtes de l'événement des lanternes. D'ailleurs qu'on fera, ça c'est sûr. On fera toutes les quêtes, tous les événements, tout. Pour avoir un maximum de primo. J'essaierai d'avoir Alhaitham. J'essaierai d'avoir... Ou Tao, ou Ilan, je sais pas. Je sais pas quoi. Les deux m'intéressent pas de fou. Le truc, c'est que je me suis renseigné un peu sur Ayaka, essayer de voir si c'est déjà prévu qu'elle revienne ou pas. C'est pas prévu. Mais il y a des suppositions. Et des suppositions suggèrent qu'elle reviendrait vers mars-avril. Donc là, le mois de février sera déjà réservé au Festival des Lanternes. On sait déjà qu'il y aura Alhaitham, Xiao, Yutao, Yilan, c'est ça. D'ailleurs, la seule chose qui me fait dire que j'essaierai d'avoir genre Yutao ou Yilan, c'est parce qu'il y a Ningguang et Zinchu qui m'intéressent. Et il y a Yao Yao aussi pour le don. Pour les heals qui m'intéresseraient pas mal. Bref. Donc comme ça, là si je fais mon 50-50 sur Alhaitham, je suis sûr de l'avoir. Parce que j'ai perdu le précédent. J'en fais un sur Utao. Je l'ai pas, c'est pas grave, je m'en fous. Ça veut dire si Ayaka, je l'aurai. Normalement. C'est comme ça que je le vois. J'espère que ça marchera. Après il y a Kazuha, mais je sais pas, c'est pas prévu non plus. Enfin. J'espère. Enfin après il m'intéresse mais sans plus quoi. Enfin, C'était vraiment la Shogun Raiden que je voulais avoir. Je l'ai eu sur un autre compte. Je suis vraiment en train de réfléchir. J'ai vraiment réfléchi. En train de me dire. Je fais toutes les 14 scrims pour arriver là où je suis actuellement. Et jouer sur le compte où il y a la Shogun. Bah bon, un peu flemme et puis. Tant pis, hein, c'est le jeu quoi. C'est pas grave. C'est le jeu, elle reviendra en vœu. Et puis on essaiera de la voir quand elle reviendra. On va voir. S'il y a Zhongli un jour, j'essaierai de l'avoir aussi. J'espère qu'il n'y aura pas Zhongli et Ayaka, par exemple. Ça me ferait chier. Parce que je me dis, en général, ils essayent de faire ça par thème. Mais là, il y a Xiao, Festival des Lanternes, ça se comprend. Et Alhaitham. Je comprends pas. Qu'est-ce qu'il fait là? Enfin, ouais. Je sais pas si ça va apporter aussi des quêtes principales. Une suite aux quêtes qu'on a là. Je sais que ça va ajouter des quêtes d'événements, tout ça. D'ailleurs, je l'avais fait le Festival des Lanternes, c'était tombé à peu près quand j'avais commencé le jeu. J'avais vraiment trouvé ça trop beau. J'avais fait ça. Bah, je crois que c'est quand j'avais terminé les quêtes de Libu. J'avais terminé les quêtes de Libu, j'avais commencé la montagne. Ah ouais, ça remonte. Ça devait être genre la... Peut-être la 1.2 ou un truc comme ça. Ou je sais plus. C'est dans les toutes premières versions. De toute façon, au début que j'ai joué, il n'y avait pas la montagne. Mais je crois même qu'elle y était pas du tout. Pas qu'elle était pas explorable, qu'elle y était pas du tout. C'était un des plateaux avant. Des plateaux d'herbe sans rien quoi. Je crois que c'était comme ça, mais je m'en souviens plus. Ça me dit rien. Bon allez. Est-ce que... J'ai autre chose à ajouter. En vrai en team de perso, je sais pas ce qui serait bien. Je vois souvent des teams passer mais... Enfin... Celles qui reviennent plus, c'est des teams d'Archon. Donc la Shogun, Zhongli, Venti et Nahida. En vrai en soi c'est une bonne team. Enfin je sais pas si Nahida heal, je crois pas. Il manquerait peut-être un healer mais... En vrai c'est une bonne team. Moi ce que je cherche ça va. Je cherche un bon healer. Donc je verrai ce que Yao Yao propose en termes de heal. Et si c'est facile de se heal avec. Je sais que Chichi, quand je l'avais, elle avait des heals de fou. Et c'était très facile de se heal. De heal toute l'équipe. Donc c'est pour ça que j'aimais bien Chichi. Après, en perso DPS, bon j'aurais bien aimé la Shogun, vu que je l'ai pas. Bah Ayaka, qui apparemment est une DPS aussi. J'aurais bien tenté Ayato, mais il est tombé en même temps que la bannière de la Shogun. C'est pas possible. Il s'y reviendra dans un petit moment. Mais je pense qu'Ayaka va pas tarder à revenir. Parce que la dernière fois qu'elle était là, en bannière, il y avait... Elle était avec son frère Ayato. T'avais Ayaka et Ayato. J'ai regardé. Je me suis renseigné un peu. Pour essayer d'anticiper quand est-ce qu'il y en aurait qui reviendrait. Il y a aussi le même de Shenhi, comme ça. Bah, celle qui nous a aidé à la reconstruction de la chambre de Jade. Qui aurait eu une bannière depuis le temps qu'elle est dans le jeu. Et du coup, qui demande quand est-ce qu'elle reviendra, quoi. Quand est-ce qu'elle sera lootable. Non, les poubelles. Donc ouais. Je pense qu'il y aura une bannière avec genre 2 persos qui sont... Bon, le chien à bois, bien sûr. Avec 2 persos qui n'ont pas eu beaucoup de rerun, comme ils s'appellent. Donc par exemple, Xiao, il en a déjà eu 4. En peu de temps. C'est pas mal. Mais après, la Shogun en a déjà eu 2. Et après, il faut se dire aussi que eux, ils veulent faire de l'argent, forcément. Du coup, ils vont mettre principalement dans les bannières les persos que les gens aiment bien. Comme ça, les gens vont se dire « Ah, je le veux absolument, je vais mettre des sous pour avoir des primogèmes. » Il y a ça aussi. Puis s'il y a un perso qui plaît vraiment, les gens vont beaucoup jouer. Parce que, bah... Ils veulent ce perso. Donc je pense que c'est aussi pour ça qu'il y a... Il y a des persos qui reviennent plus que d'autres. C'est en fonction des préférences de la communauté, je pense. Mais bon, il y a tellement de persos 5 étoiles en fait que faudrait limite maintenant qu'ils mettent 3 bannières. Parce que sinon, il y a des persos que tu vas pas recroiser pendant 1 an et demi. Et des fois, bon, t'as une perte de motivation sur le jeu. Genre moi, la dernière fois que j'ai joué au jeu, c'était il y a 2 ans. Avant de m'y remettre là, sérieusement quoi. Que j'ai fait en stream là. D'ailleurs, j'ai vu, la première VOD a été upload il y a 1 mois. Donc ça fait pas si longtemps que ça que je joue au jeu. J'ai dû commencer vraiment début décembre. On est mi-janvier. J'ai fait toutes les quêtes à Semeru. J'ai pas mal de persos qui me plaisent. J'ai dépensé plus de quasiment 48 000 primogèmes, je crois. En vœux. Des fois, c'est juste des vœux que j'ai bootés. Enfin, c'est... J'ai bien farmé, j'ai bien fait les quêtes. J'ai fait plein de trucs sur le jeu que j'avais pas fait avant. J'ai pris le temps. Enfin, disons qu'avant, j'y arrivais pas. J'ai abandonné. Voilà, ça me faisait chier, ça me cassait les couilles. Maintenant, je veux vraiment le faire. Je veux faire à 100%. Je veux pas rester là me dire putain c'est chier, j'ai pas réussi. Alors du coup, je me renseigne sur internet, je vais voir des trucs comment faut faire. Parce que des fois, il y a des trucs, autant ils te prennent pour un con et tu vois plein, ils te donnent trop d'infos quoi. Autant des fois, ils t'en donnent pas du tout. Et tu dois te démerder. Mais par exemple, l'île de Sereil, je ne savais pas qu'il fallait prendre un portail pour aller autour... Enfin, en l'air au milieu, quoi. Et vu que tu sais pas bah ça vient pas à l'esprit de prendre le portail. Tu dis c'est là qu'on m'a donné la quête, c'est dans cette zone là que je dois la faire. Bah non. En fait c'est parce que eux, vu qu'ils n'ont pas d'œil divin tout ça, ils peuvent pas s'approcher du centre. Enfin, bref. Bon, maintenant que tout ça est fait, que... Je pense que j'ai plus rien à dire. Hein. On a dit j'ai pas me papoté là. Vous pouvez me suivre sur YouTube. Il me reste encore des choses à dire quand même. Vous pouvez vous abonner sur YouTube. D'ailleurs j'ai regardé un peu les stats. J'étais content, il y avait pas mal de gens qui regardent, même s'ils s'abonnent pas. Bon, c'est sûr qu'en s'abonnant, ça... Je verrais que ça plaît aux gens, quoi. Mais là, ils s'abonnent pas, bon. C'est juste... Des fois, je me demande si c'est pas juste des gens de passage ou... Quelqu'un qui s'est endormi sur son téléphone avec la lecture automatique. Ça arrive aussi. Ça arrive souvent, parce que beaucoup de mes vues sont faites dans la nuit. Ou après, les insomniaques. Quand tu sais pas quoi faire, tu regardes un peu de tout et n'importe quoi. Et souvent, la nuit, c'est long. Vous pouvez aussi me suivre sur Twitter. Sur Twitter, je poste toutes les annonces de live. Je réagis parfois à du League of Legends, parce que c'est un jeu que j'aime bien aussi. Donc tout ce qui est LFL et compétition, quoi. Enfin, je réagis, ouais, sans plus, quoi. Je suis pas non plus là à spam. Voilà. Sur ce, moi je vais aller goûter. Voilà. C'est important de goûter, faut pas oublier de goûter. Imagine t'es là, tu goûtes pas, comment ta vie elle pue. Bon allez. Sur ce, je vous souhaite une bonne journée. Je vous dis à jeudi. Et jeudi 9h, voilà. Passez une bonne journée, bon après-midi, bonne fin de soirée. Sur YouTube, à dans 2 jours. Ciao, ciao.